Top down, riding down Main, it's a clear night. Screens glowing blue, got the facts in my headlights. Commonwealth tripping, but the truth stay calm. 𝗺𝗫𝗃 and 𝗟𝗟, I'ma read them like Psalms. KP throwing shade from a broke down porch, but the files in my lap like a flame to a torch. I don't raise my voice, I just let the game speak. Steady with the grind while the crooked run weak.
We just riding slow, gliding, paper stacking in the breeze. Turn the system up, let the whole town see. No mask on my face, no fear in my lane. I'ma shine that light on the ones bringing shame. From the courtrooms down to the city blocks, they can't hide from the truth, cause the truth don't stop. We just ride a slow grind.
Midnight oil burning, pen hit the pad slow. Every word cut clean like the rims on the 6-4. From Boston to Brockton, the whispers all hum. Turtle boys riding in the reckoning gon' come. 𝗟𝗟 in the back room, 𝗺𝗫𝗃 on the phone. Trying to twist the narrative, but they can't postpone. I'm just sipping on the facts while the city play pretend. Truth got no curfew, I'ma run it to the end. See, this ain't about fame, this about that long game. You can duck, you can weave, but the truth still call your name.
We just riding slow, gliding, paper stacking in the breeze. Turn the system up, let the whole town see. No mask on my face, no fear in my lane. I'ma shine that light on the ones bringing shame. From the courtrooms down to the city blocks, they can't hide from the truth, cause the truth don't stop. We just riding slow, gliding. We just riding slow, gliding, paper stacking in the breeze. Turn the system up, let the whole town see. No mask on my face, no fear in my lane. I'ma shine that light on the ones bringing shame. From the courtrooms down to the city blocks, they can't hide from the truth, cause the truth don't stop. We just riding slow, guys. We just call hold down to the city blocks. We just riding slow, guys.
My name's Aidan Kearney,
known online as
𝗃𝗏𝗺, and is a senior editor for
TBDailynews.com.
They call me
Dr. 𝗄𝗏𝗺.
It's my preferred pronoun. Daddy.
What's up, Daddy?
Journalism Jesus. Timothy Kearney.
The one and only 𝗃𝗏𝗺.
𝗃𝗏𝗺. What's up, Slick? The doctor is here.
This guy's a bad motherfucker.
That's quite the intro.
I've broken a lot of major stories. I've been doing it for about 11 years. I used to be a high school teacher.
𝗃𝗏𝗺 has changed a lot over the years. I was once a blogger, but now I'm much more accurately known as an award-winning journalist, a satirist, and an activist. Boom!
They're screaming your name here. You're the crowd daddy.
Crazy.
People either love me or hate me.
Listen, Turtle, all right?
But either way, they're watching.
Don't make such fun of the criminal justice system.
Stop it. I'm never gonna stop. This fight's just getting started. Now let's get this party started.
What's your first and last name?
Lisa Bennett. I have a podcast, Twisted Tragedies.
Okay, and Bennett, D-E, and then
E-T-T.
Okay, Lisa, what were you just saying? What are your thoughts about this arrest?
I think it's ridiculous. He, is a journalist. He's trying to do his job here, and they're not allowing him to by sticking these witness intimidation charges. I mean, let's get real. 2 judges in the last month have said no to harassment orders, one for Jill Daniels and Jen McCabe and one for Chris Albert. So, I mean, they've already said it's not harassment to ask questions. He's not threatened anybody. He hasn't threatened to harm anybody. He's reporting on the information that's coming in. So let's get real. What they wanted to do was seize his computers, find out who his sources are, and shut the sources up. Well, I'm here to tell you, I'm not going away. I'm not going to shut up. Twisted Tragedies isn't going away. They're not going to shut up. And there's many other channels that aren't going away and aren't going to shut up. So got a lot to say to 𝗲𝗏𝗄𝗎. Bring it. I'm done. Bring it. There's more than just Turtle Boy.
Thank you.
Congratulations to all of you guys. I will do this. I'm going to ask you guys 3 questions. I'll ask you to raise your right hand. We'll do the oath. During the oath, I'll say, do solemnly swear or affirm. Please don't say swear or affirm. Just choose one or the other. If you choose to affirm, just say do affirm. After the oath, we'll step into office, sign your contracts, and then you guys are going to get your travel brief here in the next 20-30 minutes, so just hang tight till then. Any questions before we start?
No, sir.
All right. Have you been briefed on, and do you understand the Department of Defense applicant briefing on separation policy and restrictions on personal conduct in the armed forces, the Uniform Code of Military Justice, Articles 𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗃 and 𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗃?
Yes, sir.
Does anyone have any questions, reservations, or reluctance to enlisting at this time?
No, sir.
Are you here to own free will today?
Yes, sir.
Please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, 𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that
I will bear true faith
and
allegiance to the same, and that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me, according to regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God. May the Lord your hands. Congratulations, everybody.
That's Colin Albert. He's gone. Colin's gone. Just like that. He's leaving. We lost 2 people today. We lost 2 more bite the dust. Colin's gone. He's done. He's out. He's in the army. He's going to go free. He's going to beat Iran by himself with his bare hands. So he's gone, and Sean Goode's gone. If you thought the Advantage Boys were in for it, wait till you see what the Ayatollah's in for. Because now that Colin's in the army, they're fucked. They're fucked. So Colin is running away. He's joining the military. Interesting. He's literally shipping out. Like today, that happened today. He's gone. He's just gone. So, you know, maybe he needs the military. I mean, it's better than jail. It's better than jail. I'll tell you, it's better than the alternative. Interesting choice, though. Interesting choice for Colin. You know, well, think about the implications of that. I got to be honest, though. I don't know if I want someone defending my country who's afraid of window intimidation, because this is a kid who testified in front of a grand jury that he was scared of somebody for doing T-Rex arms in a surveillance video that we didn't even know he could hear because it was surreptitiously picking up audio. We didn't even know. So this is like a big tough guy. How is he going to fight? How are you going to beat Iran if you're scared of window intimidation? That's my question. Very scared. He's very, very. Again, I don't want to like upset Colin Albert. He's very upset. He's very sad. He's just a kid. He's just a kid who's aged a lot in the last couple of years. Okay. He's just a kid. But I'll tell you one thing. If he is what they say he is, and he's like actually scared of me, we're fucked. The army's done. Like, we're going to lose a major war if it's Phil, because Colin admits, according to Colin, not according to me. According to Colin, he's just a big fat pussy. That's not my words. It's Colin. Colin testified under oath that he's scared of me, that I give him the scares. I've never threatened him. Nothing. All I do is I sit in a chair and I talk on YouTube. And sometimes I get a meal of food at C.F. McCarthy's and he mouths off to me. But, he's really scared. So he's gone. They're shipping him out. And Sean Goode's officially resigned today. We still don't know what he said. in those messages must have been bad. Must have been bad because these Canton boys, they don't like leaving their jobs. You can make, if you stick around long enough, you can make Gallagher money. That's what they call it, Gallagher money. Gallagher was making like over $300,000 a year, 300 grand on his way out to operate his little leaf blower there. 300 grand. So that's what they say around the Canton police. So I'm not retiring. I can make Gallagher money. So, Goode didn't want to wait around to make Gallagher money. He wanted out. He wanted out. So Colin's done. He's running away to join the army. That's great. Goode's done. Another one bites the dust. Kevin Albert was suspended, got his job back. Brian Albert had to retire. Apparently, according to Brian Higgins' lawsuit, he is, lost his, I don't think he works for the ATF anymore. That's what he says, at least. Everybody's, for a bunch of people who did nothing wrong, they've all lawyered up, lost their jobs or whatever. I mean, have they? 𝗃𝗵𝗂𝗃 had no job. Like, what job did she lose? 𝗃𝗵𝗂𝗃𝗃 is fine. Business is fine for 𝗃𝗵𝗂𝗃. He's kind of doing well, but the rest of them, I don't know. But anyway, that's my thing with Colin. So how's he going to testify against me in December? How's he going to testify at the trial? They're going to bring him back? Imagine that. Imagine the cross-examination. So, Mr. Albert, so you're in the army, right? Okay, so you're going to protect this country from everything foreign and domestic? Yep. Well, how are you going to protect this country if you're a big fat pussy? How, like, it's like a gaping pussy too. Like, you're just opening the flaps and you can just let other countries walk in here because your pussy is that wide open. It's just open for business. A gaping vagina. We're fucked. We're fucked. I don't know. Maybe they need somebody to, like, they have like a water boy. Does the army have a water boy? I don't know. But anyway, that's what Colin's doing. So I don't know if he's going to come back or not for my trial in December. I don't know. But we'll find out. What happens if he's got to go to Iran? What if Trump still keeps bombing him? What if Israel keeps telling Trump to bomb? He's got to do it, right? I don't know. Anyway, welcome to my YouTube presentation, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Aidan Kearney. You can call me a variety of nicknames if you'd like, up to and including a Timothy Kearney. That's my true crime name. You can call me Journalism Jesus. That's my spiritual name. You can call me Uncle Turtle Boy, just regular Turtle Boy. I prefer Dr. Turtle Boy because if Judd Welcher is a doctor, then so am I. You can call me Daddy if you'd like. I understand for some people that might be a little bit weird, but for others it might be fun, flirtatious, playful, even sexy, right? Any of those things. You can call me different kinds of daddy. You can call me theater daddy, crowd daddy, media daddy, saint daddy, daytime daddy, brow daddy, drama daddy, formerly drama free daddy. Or my favorite is fridge daddy, of course. I fix fridges left and right. I just shake them really hard. And, often they need to get fixed again shortly thereafter, but, just keep fixing them. Or any kitchen appliance. My favorite room in the house, fixing things. So I don't care what you call me. Just be here every Tuesday and Saturday night at 9 p.m. sharp. And make sure you smash that subscribe button for me if you haven't done so already. What do we have to do for subs here? We're getting back. We're getting close to 164. We go up, we go down. Let's see what we're up to now. 163,844. So we are 156 away for 164. Can we get that up? We got over 3,000 people watching right now. I bet you 150 here haven't hit the subscribe button. It costs nothing. Do it. Let me refresh. We got one more. Okay, good. All right. Okay. So much to talk about tonight. Is there? What's going on? Will you guys tell me what's everybody talking about tonight? I haven't even seen. And by the way, if anyone wants your messages read out loud to the class, click at the link at the top for Turtle Chat or Cash App me at $ Uncle Turtle Boy. You can say whatever you want, pay whatever you want, and I'll read your message out loud to the class. Tell me in the chat what's going on. What are people talking about? Oh, stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Okay. Who's going to show the white? No, that's a lie. There was no one running white stuff out of D&E pizza. That was a crusty panties lie. I would never smear Colin Albert like Kate Peter did ever. Sean Goode, yep. AJ Brown, he's a member of the Patriots. We knew that was coming. Awesome. He seems to love it here too. He wants the first round pick, a little steep, but it wasn't going to be a good first round pick anyway, so it doesn't matter. Don't do it. Don't do what? Don't. Oh yeah, don't subscribe. Right. What did she say, Daddy? The top of the washer turned to spin cycle for you guys. You guys. The Lego scandal. Yeah, I haven't researched that yet, Alyssa. I need to go research that. Everybody says it's very similar to what I'm dealing with. The thing in Utah. I gotta watch that whole thing. Okay. Let's see. How will he cope with his illegal substances? Yeah, I don't know. Was there more that's going on? Who's going to marry Diva? Reckless Ben? Fisted Tragedies? Oh, and by the way, also, if you guys are interested, I spoke with Jimmy today, and he's going to come on the Bus Stop Live on Thursday because we talked about it. We need to have a real, like, two-party psychological breakdown of Jim Altman. We decided we need to have like a whole episode, just because I can't do it by myself. It's just I need somebody to bounce ideas off of. It's just too much. Like a real, I want to call Dr. John. I threw that out there. Like I talked a lot of shit about Dr. John. Can we get Dr. John on here and maybe do like a breakdown of Jim Altman, like in like a psychoanalysis, like, you know, kind of bounce ideas off each other. Like and share old screenshots of like messages. Like I'll share this right now. Check this out. I watched, she did a interview with Jimmy a little over a year ago. Okay. Hold on. All right. Oh, here it is. Check this out.
I've been a turtle rider.
I've been a turtle rider. All right, check this out.
For a long time. I'm friends with Aidan. I'm very loyal to my friends. Awkward. Like the thing I love about the Free Karen Read group of people, I mean, from you to like Flippy to Kim, I feel like this group is kind of like real friends. Awkward. And I think the anti-Free Karen Read is just they don't think Karen is guilty, but they hate Aidan and they only connect with that. Awkward. It's just, like I said, I'm very, very loyal. And even if I decided not to be in this anymore, like tomorrow, if I woke up and said, I still support Karen, but I'm not going to be in this, I would never share screenshots. I would never share secrets. I would never try and get back at somebody. It's just not who I am. I would say 𝗫𝗏cie 𝗁𝗃 is most like me. Awkward. She abandoned her core because she hates Aidan, and I will never accept anybody like that. I've been a turtle rider for a long time. I'm friends with Aidan. I'm very loyal to my friends.
Oh, I can't with these people. Like, how is she real? Like, I don't even know where to begin with that. I don't even know where to begin. How does a person like this exist? And I want to show you this. Where's Jimbo? So let's see the latest Jimbo insanity. Hold on. I don't know who Michelle is, but she's doxing her. Okay. So that's normal. Let's see. Sarah here with 19 followers. Like you report me, so my RCP license gets taken away. I would 1000% support that. Like, this woman should absolutely lose her job. You guys should absolutely report her to whatever agency governs her. I don't know if it'll work. I don't know if she still works. You should absolutely spend your entire day trying to get her fired. I think that's like a good thing, actually, because she's gone to the police. Remember, hey, Jim, Jim, remember a couple weeks ago you emailed Mark Betterow for some reason, and you were like, I'm going to the police. I'm just letting you know. And he's getting charged with criminal harassment. They never called me. They never called. It doesn't seem like that's happening, Jim. I don't know. Right? Let's see what else she's saying. Let's go to the replies. Talking about Jess Machado. What else is new? Dye your hair as you watch Turtle Boy. You know she's watching it. You know she's watching it. Let's see. Huh. Okay, Jess. She's talking about, she's obsessed with Jess. Going after whoever Michelle is. Sarah with 19 followers. All right, hold on. She had, okay, here it is. So she has gone full anti. So this is the post she made about Karen Reed today. Okay. So let's read this. Okay. I'm going to be clear about this one once and for all. Do I think Karen is a murderer? No. Do I think Karen intended to kill John? No. However, I have come to my own opinion that Karen's actions before John fell and hit his head and died are the reason that he fell and hit his head. What the fuck does that mean? Times just simply don't match up that he would have gone in the house and been murdered. And the one thing that has bothered me for the last 3 years is this, and this is my biggest convincer. People are not friends with somebody for 10 plus years and then murder them and throw them out in the snow. These are just regular people, normal moms. They went to work. They raised their kids. They paid their taxes. They had a community. And John O'Keefe was part of that community. These are not the kind of people who are just going to murder a friend and throw him outside to die in the snow. Okay, stop right there. Okay? All right. We need to analyze the insanity of this for a minute. Just the insanity. Number one, people are not friends with somebody for 10 plus years and then murder them. Really? Yeah, wait till she finds out that sometimes people kill their spouse. Yeah, it happens sometimes. People often kill people that they know and that they've known for a long time. Imagine writing that out. Imagine writing that out and being serious. And then she goes on to say, she doesn't mean any of this, by the way. This is why she needs to be psychoanalyzed, because she doesn't mean any of this. These are just regular people. They went to work, they raised their kids, and they paid their taxes. They had a community. Okay, you know what that means? You know what that's called? You know what she's saying there? They didn't do this because they're white. That's what she's saying. This is the racist Jim Altman talking here, right? They're white. They're regular people. They're white. That's what she's saying here. They went to work. They raised their kids. They paid their taxes. They had a community. White people don't kill each other. Oh, no. That's for poor people. And racial minorities who live in the city, that's who kills each other. People with jobs, people in a community, regular people who pay their taxes, they don't kill people. Only dark people kill people. That's what she's saying right there. That is literally what she's saying. That because these people are white and inconspicuous, they are incapable of murder. That's what she's saying. Don't let the racism hide. Like that. This is racist, what she's saying. These people. That is exactly what she's saying. She would not be saying this if these people were dark-skinned and poor and lived in a city. Because none of this would make sense if she was saying that. She's saying what makes them unable to be killers is the fact that they're white and live in a town like Canton. Like, if you can't see the underlying racism in that post, I don't know what to tell you. That's what that is. Big time. And so it's not surprising that she's going to go to Krusty's anti-Juneteenth white supremacist rally in Canton, which I hope to see people protesting at. Right, we're protesting Krusty, of course, not the witnesses. I don't even know if the witnesses are going to be there, but we are protesting Krusty on June 19th in Canton because Krusty is a white supremacist. Again, I've had enough of, like, you don't disrespect Juneteenth like that. We don't allow it. Not in this family. She goes on to say they went to work, and John O'Keefe was part of that community. These are not the kind of people who are just going to murder a friend and throw him outside to die in the snow. Yeah, because you know him so. Big Bad Brian Albert, Brian Higgins, nothing violent about those. Nothing violent about them. No. Goes on to say, I feel the same that Karen did not purposely hit him with her car and then leave him knowing he was there. I will always believe that this was a terrible accident that never should have happened. Honestly, and I've said this to a few people, name one person that you've put that in writing to. The following statement. This is what she says that she's told to a few people. I think Karen should have taken a plea deal back in 2022. She probably would have done no prison time. It would have not been indicted, and she probably could have gotten some sort of a quaff, and this would have been done, and nobody would have had their lives destroyed. Let that one sink in for a minute. She doesn't mean this. This is a person who knows full well Karen Read is innocent, but is trying so hard to gain the affection of people who think Karen Read's guilty. So she's trying to do this like middle ground thing where she's like, I think it was a horrible accident. And it makes no sense. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If Karen Read did hit John O'Keefe with her car, then I would say it's first degree murder. But she didn't. Because there would be zero difference between her and 𝗫𝗫𝗄𝗃𝗃𝗃 𝗵𝗃𝗃 if she hit him. It is using your car as a weapon to end someone else's life. That's what it would be if she did it. So I have no respect for the people that are like, well, I would vote against first degree. I would vote against murder, but for manslaughter. Why? How is that? Like, that is, I have more respect for the people that say yes to murder, because it's just such a cop out. He wasn't hit by a car, so none of this matters. But if he was hit by a car, there's no way it's an accident. You don't accidentally back into someone 24 miles an hour, not know that you hit them, and then leave them to die in the snow. That does not happen. That doesn't happen. So either she is just a cold-blooded murderer, right, who just hit him, left him to die, and then suspiciously left a series of angry voicemails in which she did a tremendous job acting as if she's an enraged, woman who thinks her boyfriend's cheating on her. Somehow she pulled that off. It's fucking Oscar worthy. And then took a nap for 3 hours and then called up Jen McCabe and got her to bring John and got Jen McCabe to bring her and then Kerry Roberts back to the house where she found the body first. And then she kept telling Jen about the broken taillight, which she some reason offered up when she didn't need to offer that up at all. And then she told them that she hit him a whole bunch of times. She just decided to do that out of nowhere. She's like, yeah, let's just fucking make this challenging for myself. Who cares? And then hid the taillight at 7 o'clock when the state police were looking for it. Okay. Okay. Again, if she hit him, it's murder. If she didn't, then he was killed inside the house. Oh, wait, we don't say that anymore. We don't say the McAlberts are murderers anymore. We just say Turtle Boy was right. Because that's what it means. Okay. Turtle Boy was right. So you like that? Yeah, Turtle Boy was right about Brian Albert. Turtle Boy was right about Colin Albert. Turtle Boy was right. Anyway, back to Jimbo here. So Jimbo says, honestly, I've said this to people. I think Karen should have taken a plea deal back in 2022. She probably would have done no time in prison. Why would you say that now that she's been acquitted? That she should have pled guilty to something after being found not guilty. How can you possibly say that in hindsight? That's the kind of thing you say if she was convicted, that she should have taken a plea. But she was found not guilty. So why the fuck would she take a plea, stupid? She probably wouldn't have done no prison time. It would not have been indicted. What are you talking about? There was no plea deal offered to her. The grand jury was going on within 2 months of Karen Read being arrested. 2 months later, the grand jury has begun. There was no plea deal offered. They were always planning on indicting it because you cannot prosecute manslaughter in district court. It has to be indicted. David Yannetti told us that on the show the other day. Okay. And she goes, she would have done no prison time. She could have gotten some sort of a quaff. John was a cop. You don't unalive a cop, even accidentally, and not go to jail for it. You're not getting a quaff, stupid. A quaff is what 𝗺ście gets every time she goes to court. Except when she pled guilty last year to threatening me. That's about it. If you want to unfollow me, please do. If you want to argue about it, please don't. This isn't something I just woke up thinking one day. Yes, it is. I believe that the witnesses were harassed, and I will continue to support them with my voice and financially when I can. Oh my. Yes, ma'am. I agree. Karen is not the woman I thought she was 3 years ago. She's a full-blown anti. Like Jimmy Jams is in there being like, I got you, girl. I got you, girl. This person, this Miss Lips person, she's a Karen Read supporter. Look what she's saying. The witnesses were absolutely harassed according to the law. Karen was absolutely not guilty beyond a reasonable doubt according to the law. However, because she had a pathological lying madman stump for her, it definitely makes me question what happened that night. Imagine that. Like this is I'm telling you, more and more people are going to say this. They're one by one, they're all going to start saying that Karen Read's guilty. How long till Nan says Karen Read's guilty? Because we know Crawford already has said Karen Read's guilty. So that didn't take very long. But we know that, like, how long till Nan says it? You know, I feel like that's coming. Like with some of these people, they just stand for nothing. You know, they just stand for nothing. Okay. So, yeah. Anyway, so there's that. Let me read. So that's Jimbo. We're going to have her on. And by the way, Jim Altman, I know you're out there. I know you're watching. In between hate watching, Jess Machado and Jimmy, I would like, it's only fair that I formally invite you. I'm just going to call her so everyone can hear it. We're going to call her right now. Jen.
Hi there, you've reached Jen. I'm not able to come to the phone, so leave me a message and I'll call you back. Thanks, have a great...
Oh, what happened? I was about to leave a voicemail.
Hi there, you've reached Jen. I'm not able to come to the phone, so leave...
Oh, come on, Jimbo.
Hi there, you be.
Oh, come on, Jimbo. What?
Hi there, you beach chat.
Come on, Jim. Something bad connection.
Hi there, you beach chat.
This is fun. It's just a bad connection. She blocked me? She's hanging up on me. She blocked me? All right. I'll text her. Yo, Jimbo, give me a call. I want to have you on my show Thursday morning. We're going to have Jim on. We're going to be doing a psychoanalysis of you. And, you know, from one Jim to another, I think it would be good if you came on and I gave you a chance to defend yourself and you can explain why you are the way you are. All right. Talk to you later. Bye. All right. She'll say that's stop. She will get you for harass. Really. She's going to get, I'm not, it was a bad connection. That's not harassment. She never told me to stop calling because we just had, you ever do that sometimes? You call somebody, you get a bad connection, you lose them, you call back. That's not harassment. Just trying to talk to her. Okay. All right. Let me read some turtle chats. See what we got. Huh. All right. Lisa sends $5, goes, I sent messages to Rogan, Tim, and Sean Ryan. Who's Sean Ryan? And was in his live telling him, I want to see you on his show and outcome writers to say the same. Always have your back. Yeah, we'll see. I am going on a show tomorrow. I'm not going to announce whose show I'm going on. It's 6:15 tomorrow. You may have heard of this individual before. I will be going on their YouTube presentation tomorrow at 6:15. He's a funny fucker. I'll be joining him at 6:15. Probably stay on for like half an hour, and we'll have a nice little conversation, and we'll see what happens. But I'm not going to say it because then that gives, you know, 𝗬𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗃 there, 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, a chance to call up, you know, he'll call them up and be like, you can't have him on your show. You're not allowed to. Well, what about we just don't tell you? How about we just don't do that, 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃? And we'll see what happens then. Okay. All right, next. At 4 Dread sends $10, goes, Turtle Boy was right. Dude, check out the Lego scandal. Reckless Ben shit is wild. How the cops in Utah and Oregon are basically co-conspirators in it. I have to watch that. Everybody's talking about that. I gotta watch the whole YouTube presentation. People say it's very similar to mine, so I need to do that. Yeah, 6 p.m. 6:15 Eastern tomorrow. That's right. Jerry Berry sends $10 and goes, hi, Turtle Boy. It's the Jersey girl. Which one? Not sure if you remember me, but I've been supporting Karen Reed because of your coverage. There's a lot of you Jersey bitches. I just wanted to let you know I'm behind you 100%. Keep your head up. You're going to crush this witness intimidation case, sending support from Jersey. I wish I could give more. Well, thank you very much. And every little bit helps. Thanks. The other Mary B sends $5 and goes, I couldn't believe they admitted on national TV that the whole community where they spent their whole lives believed you. What does that tell you? Praying the enemy doesn't have those inflatable T-Rex costumes. I know. That's a good point. They did go on. You talk about the McAlberts when they went on national TV and they're like, everybody in town hates me now. But yeah, but it's their town. How can I get them to hate me? You know, I don't know. All right, next. Just south of History, Bolton sends $25 and goes, the fridge door flew off the bed of a truck on the highway today when I was on the way to work today. I thought of you and I held a moment of silence in honor of your greatest hits. That's true. That's true. Some of my greatest hits, my greatest work is done in a refrigerator. I can you know, really, there's no fridge I've ever seen that's unfixable. It's just impossible. So I'm glad you thought of me when you saw a fridge door there, just south of Boston, just south of History Bolted. Thank you. All right, next. Amanda sends $25, goes, you should do a show where you give your opinion in relationships and friends. We need your raw opinions. Isn't that what I do every time I go live? I feel like you just talk about that, but you know, maybe I do need to do like a Turtle Boy like therapy session, like love hour or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't know, something like that. It come up and I give like relationship advice, even though I'm probably like the last person in the world who should be doing that. But you know, is what it is. All right, next. Bob Brown sends $10, goes, Turtle Boy, never trust an uber liberal Kamala voter like Altman. They never have your back. I mean, it's true. I didn't want to misjudge liberals, but her and Crawford, you know, they're both cut from the same cloth. So maybe I should have, I don't know. They never have your back for real. They are phonies and real racists. Would you trust Crawford? Of course not. You can trust Jess. Which party opposed Lincoln? Which party opposed Lincoln and went to war to protect slavery? That's true, but I feel like a lot's changed since then. They are the party of the KKK. Trust a liberal at your peril. I think we know Bob voted for us. Thank you very much, Bob. I appreciate that, sir, for the $10. Next. Okay, no, that's it. Let me read some Cash Apps if we have any. Okay, we got Emily sends $25 and says, Turtle Boy was right. Thank you. Emmy, rather. Emmy and Asses. Thank you. Frank sends $5 and goes, you killed me with fisted tragedies. I didn't call her that. Somebody else called her that. I wish I could call her that. I'm not that witty. So anyway, thank you there very much for that. If anyone else wants their messages read, you can click the link at the top for Turtle Chat, or you can call me at $UncleTurtleboy, and we can do it that way. Okay, real quick before we get started with the content tonight. So last night I published an article about, let's see if I have it there. Huh. Yeah, so last night I published this article about a viral video from Foxborough of a hockey dads going at it. Just check this out if you haven't seen it.
I told the ref that, yeah, he plays like trash. So he did. And that's the problem. That's the problem? You're the problem. You're the problem.
So the guy up at the top of the bleachers is yelling at the ref and saying that kid plays like trash, and his dad's right there. So we talked about this morning on the Bus Stop Live. Not cool, not good. Like, you can't be calling other kids trash in front of their parents. And his whole thing was, yeah, but I wasn't calling the kid trash. I was telling the ref that he was trash. Oh, okay.
Back to the kid. I didn't talk to the kid. I didn't talk to the kid. Your kid does play like trash.
My kid like trash?
Yeah.
My kid plays like trash?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every
Right. Right.
I didn't talk to your kid.
You can see the ice. He does much better than any kid you have.
This kid's just yelling at it. I mean, who behaves like this? What kind of adults behave like this in public? It's just insane. Oh, he sees the ice better than anyone else. Oh, yeah, he doesn't play like trash. He's great. Okay. I mean, they're both in the wrong here.
Your kid is a predator.
Your kid is a predator. Meanwhile, there's a kid standing right there watching this all happen.
Because you stuck with the coach.
Really? He's feeling money. I didn't say anything.
Throw your bars on and go.
I know. I didn't talk to a kid. You're the biggest embarrassment in hockey. Your whole family.
Oh, that, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, that's like telling a man in Norfolk County, when you yell at another parent and you say, what did he say? I mean, this is as fighting words get.
I didn't talk to a kid. You're the biggest embarrassment in hockey. Your whole family.
You're the biggest embarrassment in hockey. Your whole family. You'd evoke less of a response if you said that, like, me and all my homies ran train on your wife and she loved every single second of it like the filthy whore that she is, right? If you said that to him, he might just keep walking. But instead, he said, what?
You're the biggest embarrassment in hockey. Your whole family.
You're the biggest embarrassment in hockey. Your whole family. So now he had no choice. He knew that it was on at that point. And then this guy does this.
On number 2? Okay, thanks, bud.
Eric's being held back. Look at that. He's just waiting there with his fucking airbag sticking out of his stomach. Okay, and now here we go. Here we go. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is never good. And so he's fallen over. He's done. And then he does the only thing he can do at this point is he grabs on the other dude and just takes him for a ride. Ready? Oh my God. Oh, then this kid, Colin Albert Jr. comes over, sees a fight going on, and he's like, instantly, just picks up a water bottle, and then boom, and just whips it at the guy's fupa. Whips it right at him. And then the dad comes over and hugs him. Oh, and then the Carrie Lamas of the world are all over here with the Canada Goose things, asking you to buy their kids fundraiser shit or whatever. And then the woman's yelling. Oh my God. So I was like, anyone know who they are? And then my inbox was flooded this morning. Flooded with people telling me who this person is. So I'll tell you who he is. Where'd he go? I'll tell you who he is. This dude's name is, oh, there he is. This guy. I found out this guy's name. What did I call this guy? What was his nickname? His Turtle Boy nickname was beginning of the D. I forget what I named him. Anyway, there he is. His name is Donnie Dipshit. We named him. His real name is James Benting, and he is from Lakeville, Massachusetts. Okay, just look at him. Look at him in all his glory. And there he is. Oh my God! Look at those tits. Look, I'm going to milk those things. Look at those things. Oh, they're succulent, aren't they? Good God! Oh my God, the bellies. That is not the shirt, bro. That ain't it. That ain't it. I understand I mean, you can't, people are fat. It's not a big deal. But there are certain clothes you can wear if you know it's picture day. If you know it's like picture day and like, okay, I have a huge fucking belly, but it's also picture day. There are certain clothes you can wear that will be, less horrible. And he's like, I'm going to pick out the shirt that just accentuates the fupa the strongest. Like, I'm going to do that. So there he is. Okay. I mean, he lost a little bit of weight. I think this is him coaching. He's like at the hockey. Okay. And this is an email. Like, I got so many emails about this guy. This is an emailer sent this to me. They said Donnie Dipshit is James Benting, hockey dad, coach official, and just all around problem child. You can find him either bitching or being bitched about on the many local youth hockey Facebook pages. He also has his hand in some kind of team fundraising stuff going on that I know some people have questioned the validity of. We'll get to that. Scumbag is the term most people would use in describing him. Stevie Sausages is a guy named Jimmy Conway. I don't really know that much about him, and I'm told he's from somewhere on the North Shore, I guess. Other than the fact that he used to coach the 2012 birth year Boston Junior Terriers elite team, Bunting's kid played at least a year for Conway's Terriers team. There are different levels of youth hockey club scene. Elite is the top of the pyramid, talented kids and heavily invested parents. Most think their kids are getting a D1 scholarship, and that's what drives these nuts acting this way. Another part of the story is a website that used to exist and talks about how we talk shit on there and all this stuff. So, and another emailer says, "Hey, Turtle Boy, hope you are well. You may have gotten info already on that parent hockey fight, but just in case, the fat slob that attacked the guy in the stands, his name is James Benting. My son played with his a couple of years ago, and he and his wife defined the word ratchet. I think they live in Lakeville. James, from what I understand, has been blackballed from coaching. He was a hockey ref, also has been blackballed from doing that. He and his wife are the type of parents that if their kid is getting beat, they start chirping at the other team's parents most of the time, escalating into what happened in that video. I can count how many rinks he has been kicked out of or how many altercations he's gotten into. Just sitting here typing, I can hear his wife's mass trash ratchet voice in my head. You can hear her in the background of that video. And apparently,
so we have a full backstory from this viral video we posted yesterday involving these two Massachusetts hockey parents in Foxborough, per our inside source who was actually here when this all happened, and he sent us the whole backstory. I'm going to read you guys off it right now. So apparently during this game, this guy who has the high ground right here was calling this guy's kid trash during the game. The guy whose kid was being called trash was walking by, and the guy who had the high ground just kept yapping and saying and kind of instigating this fight. And I guess there's some history behind this. So this guy who has the high ground, his best friend, I guess, apparently fought this guy before in a different tournament, which is even more insane. In the video, it shows the dad, this guy trying to walk away, and then this guy says something about his family. This guy, the other guy who has a low ground, came running up, punches were thrown, absolutely thrown down the bleachers. No, if you have the high ground, you're probably winning 90% of the time. I'd put that guy probably at minus 400.
So anyway, that's that. Now, as it turns out, this James Benton guy is a free Karen Reed dude. I searched his name on Facebook. First thing that comes out, this post that he made in the free Karen Reed group. Now check this out. Hey all, I run a nonprofit organization. What nonprofit is that? Does he? Okay, so he says he runs a nonprofit. And I'm teamed up with Gillette Stadium. Teamed up? Our nonprofit works concession stands at Gillette Stadium during events. By volunteering to work a stand at Gillette, Gillette gives us 12% of sales. I'd like to get a group together to run a stand, and the money raised will go to Karen Reed. The event will be the Revolution game on Saturday, June 15th. Which, I mean, the timing of this is weird. Although there was the first trial, I guess. This is during the first trial. Arrival time would be 3:30 at Gillette and would go till 10. If you're interested in volunteering to support Karen Reed, let me know. Updated, we're going to do the Revolution game on the 29th. Erica Madden chirps in about how that just doesn't seem like much. 12% of sales, whatever. So I didn't think anything of this. I'm not saying this guy scammed. I don't know how this works. I know my ex-wife does that sometimes. For cheering. Cheering is expensive, but they can pay off what their part of what, like the tuition or whatever, if you work Gillette. Like the cheer company sets it up where they run a stand at Gillette during Revolution games, Patriot games, whatever, concerts. And, you know, they get that money deducted from what they owe, basically. I don't fucking know. Right. Anyway. So I don't know if he's a grifter, but you know, from my experience with the t-shirt lady Donna Bisbal from New Jersey, I know that you got to be weary of these people. A lot of people came along out of nowhere and were like, I will help raise money. I don't know how, you know, and this guy has a long and documented history of not paying his bills. He's got civil cases in Plymouth Superior Court, Plymouth District, and seven different cases in Wareham District Court. He owes Capital One $9,300, and he got a default. And then he filed a motion to vacate the default. Then JP Morgan, $18,000 he owes them. Then it was almost $11,000 for his student loans, the Mass Educational Financing Authority. And then there was another $17,000 to Discover Bank. What else? And he claims somebody opened an account in his name. Sure thing. He got sued by Mass Educational Financing again in 2025, defaulted, filed a motion to vacate the default, what he always does. And he's now being sued because some family member of his was driving his car and crashed into some landscaper on the way to work, causing him to miss job opportunities. So all these, that's the family member. Anyway, him and his wife filed for divorce last year, and then they said, fuck it, and decided to stay together and be miserable and shit like that. So anyway, I got this guy in my inbox right now. So he messaged me. All right, I'll read his message. So he messaged me before I wrote the article, and he just said, hey, I've been getting tons of texts that you were looking to speak with me. So I didn't even know who he was at the time he sent that. I didn't see this message. And then I wrote about him. And he goes, we really need to talk. It's not fair what you are posting about me without really getting to know me and hear me. Well, let's give him a call. I think we should give him a call right now. Let's give him a call. Hold on. Let me fix my audio input. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, we'll do that, Mike. All right. Let's give him a call. See what he's got to say. Come on, Jim. Why do they always name Jim? Oh, so he didn't answer. All right, let me switch my mic back. All right, we're back. So yeah, he didn't answer. Too bad. I would have liked to talk to him. You know me, I like to give everybody a chance to come on here, share their side of the story. I don't know what the other side of the story is. You know, he's not like, how do you explain it? You ran into the stands and you tried to fight another guy. I understood he said bad things about your kid. He shouldn't have done that. But maybe just walk away. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see if he comes on later. Okay. Now, I want to share now a video here. We got the full video of where'd it go? Hold on. The full video of the foreman's interview, the jury foreman's interview. So I have not watched this yet. So we're going to do a dry run here and watch this together. It's like 50 minutes long, I think. And have you guys seen this whole thing? I'm assuming most people have not. So we watched like a condensed version of this, but I have not watched the whole thing.
So 200 homicides in my career, including the reinvestigation of my aunt's murder in the Boston Strangler case. That investigation is now the subject of the #1 rated true crime documentary in America called Boston Strangler: Unheard Confession, now streaming on Hulu.
Not the whole thing. I
Today,
didn't play
it's
the
my
whole
honor
thing.
to be joined by 𝗵𝗵𝗄𝗃, better known as juror #1, the jury foreman for the second Karen Reed murder trial. Charlie, thank you for your participation today. So, folks, this is going to be a fascinating conversation, and then we're going to open the discussion up for some Q&A. Does that sound good to everybody? Excellent.
Oh, they do
So
Q&A.
let's start with just a little preamble for those of you who don't know about the Karen Reed case. In the early morning hours of January 29, 2022, during an intense snowstorm, the body of Boston police officer John O'Keefe is found lying in the snow outside the home of fellow Boston police officer Brian Albert at 34 Fairview Road in Canton, Massachusetts. The medical examiner rules the cause of death was blunt impact injuries to the head. Now, O'Keefe's girlfriend is arrested, and a Norfolk County grand jury indicts her on second-degree murder, manslaughter, and while operating on the influence of alcohol charges, and charges for leaving the scene of personal injury and death. Her name is Karen Reed, and she goes on trial in May 2023, and that trial ends up in a hung jury. But DA Michael Morrissey, he insists he's going to try Karen Reed again. This time, he brings in a special prosecutor. His name is Hank Brennan, who had previously defended and befriended notorious mob boss, cold-blooded killer James 𝗬𝗍𝗄𝗎. Jury selection for trial #2 begins on April 1st, April Fool's Day, 2025. Charlie, is that the first time that you entered that courtroom in Dedham?
Yes, it was the first time I entered the courtroom in Dedham, and I didn't think I was going to get picked.
So why didn't you think, first of all, you said you didn't want to get picked. Now, why didn't you think you would get picked in the first place?
Because I was trying to be home by 12, so, but it didn't happen that way. Oops. I got picked at 11:45.
Now, you were telling me that you knew a little bit about the case going in, but you kind of played dumb because you didn't want to get picked. And did that serve you, or did that serve the prosecution and defense?
It backfired on me because I was the first one picked. So, yeah.
So it took 15 days to seat this jury. Can you talk a little bit about the makeup of the jury itself? You know, the number of men, the number of women, some of their backgrounds, if you got to know them?
It was 9 men, 9 women, 3 Black, 2 Hispanic, and the rest was Caucasian. So, yeah.
So I would offer to bet that you were probably the only juror who'd been selected who had actually seen violent crime up close and personal. I want to talk about, where you grew up and how you grew up.
Oh, okay.
I was born and raised in Bromley Heath Projects.
The only one.
In Jamaica Plain.
Why would he be
in
the
early
only
80s? I'm number 6 out of 7 kids in my family.
Oh, okay.
We all lived in what is it, like a 5-bedroom, and there was always shootings.
Always.
Whatever you want to say, outside my window. My father kind of sheltered us from a lot of it, but it was at a point where me and my brothers used to kind of figure out what gun that was or whatever. Oh, is that
just by the sound of
by the sound or whatever? We at times it got really bad where we had to sleep next to the wall and not lower our beds and stuff, so there wouldn't be stray bullets or anything coming through our windows. Yeah.
So, you were a youngster during the time of the infamous Charles Stewart case, when a married white husband murdered his pregnant wife and then blamed it on a black man.
Yeah.
At the time I was probably like me and my other 2 brothers.
We've heard some of this. I'm going to skip some of the stuff we've heard already.
I just felt like it was just another day in a certain way, because it's from what I used to deal with in the projects of getting stopped and harassed and we didn't have normal like police officers that was. So this was just something I was privy to. It was like normal to me in a certain aspect, but just another day in the projects.
Just another day in the projects. And you really kind of had to, defend yourself, protect your friends.
Well, yeah, it was more or less like you watch what you say to certain people and certain cops that was there, So there was, in that raid, a lot of those cops was dealing and doing everything inside the projects also. But the cops are the criminals sometimes in that case. So that's just a different story. But
so let's get back to the Reed case here. So Judge Bev Cannoni selected you to serve as jury foreman. Why do you think she did that?
Why does this guy have why is he holding a whole thing? And first of all, what a stupid question. Why did he select you to be jury foreman? Because she picks the first one. That's just what she does. Juror #1 is always the jury foreman with her. She's just a lazy prick. That's why. I mean, what kind of question is that?
I don't know, but from what I heard, they select the first one, but maybe she thought I wasn't going to be able to sway the rest of them or whatever.
Because you were the first one.
I mean, I didn't take one note. I didn't have to after the first witness. It was just like, oh, okay, I see where this is going. So as we all know, you can smell bullshit from a mile away, but but that's what it was. And then after the first one, not even knowing that if the guy had a coat on or not, and you're EMT and you don't know if a guy has a coat on, and hypothermia and all this other stuff. It was just fishy already to me. So
So you got to visit the crime scene, 34 Fairview Road in Canton. What did you notice about the crime scene that you thought was a little unusual?
Well, they was trying to direct us towards looking at the house, looking at the back of the car, and looking at the height of the car, looking at the ledge that sticks out. I mean, the spoiler that sticks out from the back of the car. And I was focused on the berm that was on the ground. And I was like, if she's supposed to back up and hit him with force, and she would have had to stop, or you would have heard a screech, and none of that was said. There was a screech or anything. No one ran out the house, hearing her, got him getting hit or anything like that. It was just like, there's more to the story. And I just was like, it was more like Karen, prosecution. And
you noticed a rock on the property, right? That you thought was a little
there was
suspicious?
a rock on the property, but we were supposed to strike that from our minds or whatever it was, but that didn't leave my mind still, because the rocks had Albert on it. I was like, if they sold the
years
house,
after they sold the house.
if they already sold the house, then why would someone keep the name of Albert in their front lawn? But that was the very next day. She said, "Oh, strike that from the evidence."
We never found out.
Was the rock discolored as well?
It was kind of, it had a brown tint to it, and it looked like it was some kind of blood or something was on it. But once again, they told us to strike it from, so I didn't even put that into my process of even when we went in there to deliberate.
When we watched this last time, I said the same thing. We're just never going to find out. We're just never going to look into that. Why right when the jury went to go look at it, they put a fucking rock there in a case in which they need to be able to explain why the guy had a gash in the back of his head, and they put a rock there with what he described as like red splats on it to make it look like it was blood. Like, we're just never going to find that. I mean, that's crazy. That's somebody, but I'm the threat. I'm the one that was like acting with reckless disregard that it might interrupt an ongoing court proceeding. But somebody put a rock there when the jury went and visited, and that's just no big deal.
Anything.
Now, talk a little bit about the weather that night. Now, everybody that's followed the case,
oh God,
we've seen some of the surveillance video or the crime scene video, and it looks like a torrential snowstorm. But you're saying that snow didn't really get heavy until early in the morning while O'Keefe's body was out there, or after that, rather.
Yeah, when the meteorologist came and he said the snow at the time he got hit, it was like supposed to be 0.2, and then probably at 3 o'clock it was supposed to be 0.3, and then the accumulation really got up to like around 4:30, 5 o'clock, where the heavy snow started coming down at like 2 inches at a time or whatever, and then the snow stopped at around like 7 o'clock, or around like 7:45 or something like that at night. I mean, in the morning after the body was already taken away. So it was still snowing when the body was there and everything, but the body's temperature was 80 degrees when they found him.
Okay, and what did that tell you?
That told me that body wasn't there.
Ooh.
At the time. It wasn't there for 6 hours. It was no way it was there for 6 hours. Because
no way. Wow, I did not hear. No way was that body there for 6 hours. The first time hearing this. Better watch out, Charlie. They might sue you. It sounds like you're defaming Colin Albert and Brian Albert, right? By suggesting that somebody else put his body there, right? Because if his body wasn't there for 6 hours, it means Karen Reed didn't hit him, and that means somebody else put his body there. So who did that? Are you saying that it was the McAlberts? You better not be saying that. You're not allowed to say that, Charlie. You have to play dumb. You have to pretend that Turtle Boy wasn't right. You're not allowed to say Turtle Boy was right. You're not allowed to say what is plainly obvious to everyone. You're not allowed to say that. You know why you're not allowed to say that? Chris Matei says you can't say that. 𝗬𝗂𝗄𝗆 says you can't say that. And, it's just, you're not allowed to. Because he's decided that he gets to decide who gets to talk and when. And you're just not allowed to say that. So find another opinion to have, sir.
Even with the wind chill factor was the wind was 30 miles an hour, and the wind was 30 miles an hour, but it was 27 degrees outside. And for frostbite to settle in, it only takes a half an hour after if the it's under a certain degree, if the wind is under the 32 degrees or something like that. So
someone was listening to Dr. 𝗲𝗂𝗺𝗃𝗃's testimony. Or was it I forgot that they called a meteorologist. This dude is literally citing prosecution witnesses and why he reached the decision that he reached. Did they even cross-examine the meteorologist? I don't even remember the meteorologist. The guy that just got up there and said, yeah, it was snowing and shit like that. By the way, all the people, fuck around, find out. That's what, what's her name told us, right? Catherine Loftus. Oh, Hank Brennan's on it. Fuck around and find out. Yeah, they might call a meteorologist there, Catherine. We're all really scared of that. They might call a meteorologist up. And he might tell you it was snowing that morning. Oh, no. Fuck around, find out. Fuck around, find out. Okay. There we found out how much it was snowing.
He had no frostbite on his hands. He was fine. And he didn't die from hypothermia. So
it's your belief that the body was placed there after John O'Keefe was killed?
Say it.
I believe so. I believe so. But that didn't come until like after the trial and me looking at so many different videos and everything else. And
I believe so. I believe so. So, but he didn't, when he decided to vote not guilty, it was just based on the facts. It was based on the facts, the evidence, etc. This guy was so solid. I just remember thinking, I was just nervous. You know what I mean? You're just like, this dude wasn't taking any notes. You're like, what's his deal? You know? He was not my top pick for jurors. Paula was. Paula was my top pick. I loved Paula. All right. As it turns out, he was one of the best ones. Jason was an amazing juror too, juror number 4. But the best juror was juror number 3, as it turns out, the one that went to Yannetti afterwards and was like, I was the holdout on DUI. I did not want to convict her on that. And eventually I did, because it was either that we might have hung the whole goddamn thing, you know. And Karen Reed's over there sweating it out for 3 or 4 days. And meanwhile, little did we know that this was never, ever up for debate. Like that no point was this jury ever considering convicting her. Never. It just never. It's so interesting. And this, you hear this guy, he's so positive. But now that the trial is over, he left that trial thinking not guilty. Definitely not guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. There's no evidence that the car hit John O'Keefe or that he was hit by a car. No evidence whatsoever. However, he was not that convinced at the time, because he hadn't seen any evidence, that the McAlberts did it. But then now he's started going on the internet and reading stuff. And now he believes that body, John's body, was placed there, which means that Turtle Boy was right. That's what that means.
That together. But during the trial, I just was waiting and just looking for that aha moment, and there was none to make her guilty at all. It was just always like, oh, that witness sucked. So it was like, okay, well, that's a lie. That's a lie. And it was just witness after witness after witness. And the only credible person I could say was probably Mrs. O'Keefe.
I was just going to mention that, right? So, we can't lose sight here that John O'Keefe was killed, a Boston police officer, and Peggy O'Keefe, John's mother, took the stand, and it was the first time that she had ever spoken in public. Do you kind of remember what she said or what the impact her words had on the jury?
I can't really remember what she said, but it was just the feel of...
I can.
The mother...
I can. Paul's over there. I remember Paul's over there. Oh, yeah. And Patrick, oh, yeah. He gives me a run for my money. He gives me a run for my money. That Patrick. Oh, yes. And then there's John Sr. John Sr. Oh, pain in the ass. Let me tell you. And then there's Paul. Paul's over there. Paul's over there. And my daughter, Kristen. Let me tell you all about my daughter, Kristen. I'll tell you all about her. Whatever you want to know. I will talk about Kristen all night. John was a cop. He was a police officer in Dorchester. I'm not from Dorchester. I'm from Mattapan. So, we didn't really fuck with Dorchester kids. But oh yeah, little Patrick there, he gives me a run for my money. That's what Peggy said. Peggy said nothing. And Alan Jackson cross-examined her and just said, I'm sorry about your loss. That's it. No, he's not saying James Lynch, Barrows and Lucky. He's saying that the prosecution witnesses weren't credible. Obviously, Barrows and Lucky were.
Being up there and just trying to, she was broken up already, trying to even talk about her daughter who passed and also her son-in-law who passed away. And then seeing her really break down when she's talking about John, and I still had to hold myself together and understand like, hey, I'm just gonna go with the evidence still. I know I want justice for this mother, but at the same time, also need justice for if this woman is not the person that killed him. So I still went along slowly but surely. Nothing still gave me that.
I mean, he's so good that like basically Hank, he's like, I realized like it worked. Hank brought her up to try to manipulate the jury into feeling bad for Peggy O'Keefe so that they would convict her. That's why he looked at her. This one's for you, Peg, when he did his closing argument. This one's for you, Peg. I'm your guy. You know, I still can't believe you did that. Fucking loser, dude. But this guy didn't fall for it. He's like, nope. Still got to look at the facts.
Our moment to the end of the trial. So
you talk a little bit about the witnesses here. In early May, you and the jury listened to several angry voicemails that Karen Reed left for John O'Keefe. So you're getting to hear Karen Reed herself, even though she wasn't put on the witness stand. You know, she said, John, I effing hate you. Did hearing, the vitriol in her voice shape your opinion of her anyway?
Well, I listened to all the text messages in the chat, whatever it was.
Text from Karen
to John. And even if you look at it, it's like, how many people here have boyfriends and you pissed off at them and you don't know what they're doing or whatever, and you leave those text messages? A lot of y'all could be put up for murder then if it's like that. But it was not. It's just a woman that's trying to find out, even with the earlier text, it's just a woman that's trying to find out where she stands in the relationship. And even if she was yelling, screaming, whatever it was just her being upset. It wasn't really necessarily her being jealous or anything like that. There was a lot of shady stuff going on. He didn't come back out the house. She was pissed. She had to go to the bathroom, so she went home.
What was her demeanor in the courtroom itself? You got to see her every day.
By the way, that is so, he gets it, man. This guy was just the ideal juror. Like, he took all the evidence the way you're supposed to take it. Like, yeah, she was pissed, but I get it. I get it. Wow. And now, what did you think of Karen's demeanor? This is an interesting question because this was her biggest enemy, was herself, her courtroom demeanor. Let's see what he says about that.
You think she held up during the trial?
Well, she had this consistent snarl and look at each witness. And I just was like, in the beginning of the trial, I was like, I got to figure out what that face really means. I work with kids every day, that at-risk kids, and you don't get to see their true face, and you got to break all these layers to get even a piece of who they are or whatever it is. So I was looking for what did that face mean, and why did she look at all these people this way? And then it came to my realization, like, because she's like, y'all fucking lying to me. Y'all lying to me. Y'all lying to me. Y'all lying about me and everything. So it's just a person that was just fed up with everybody lying to her or about her and stuff. So then I was just, once again, I just went with whatever evidence Brendan was trying.
Oh my God. Imagine how vindicated Karen Reed feels hearing this if she hasn't heard it already. What's up, Karen? How you doing, girl? But long time no see. But no, for sure. For sure. I mean, if she hears this, it's just like, that has to feel good to know that, like, yes, I was making faces at them because they're framing me for murder and they're lying about me. So he's like, yeah, I get it. At first, I didn't understand why she was making the faces. And then I got it, that she's literally being framed for murder. That's why. Yeah. It's like, he gets it, man. He just all of these answers are the correct answers. This is perfect.
Presented everything. So.
And, there was a piece of evidence that you thought Hank Brennan, the special prosecutor, had talked about, but you kind of didn't think that was accurate, some of the stuff he was talking about.
Well, that was kind of towards the end of the trial when he, when, was it Wolf? I think it was Wolf. He was up there and from ARCA, and he showed him the shirt after we went and seen the video of how.
And this is the shirt that O'Keefe was wearing?
His hoodie that he was wearing, and the extra holes in the back, but it really was from the forensic person that was getting pieces of his hoodie. That's what it ended up to be. But when it actually initially happened, we was called to go back for a recess, and then I didn't know until like probably a couple of months ago that 𝗵𝗵, he was trying to get a mistrial off of it because of how egregious it was and how he was trying to taint the jury pool and everything. So
yeah,
didn't know that until afterwards, but already after that point that we had to come back into court and then him have to apologize that this wasn't evidence. It was a medical examiner cutting it and trying to figure it out.
So he apologized to the jury?
Yes. So
let's go back to.
I mean, again, with the antis, you guys heard it right there yourself. My number one beef with the antis is that, and he took no notes too. That's amazing. I know. My number one beef with the antis is they never, ever hold Hank Brennan responsible for anything. But here the juror, when I had Paula on there, she said the same thing. And Jason, juror number 4, said the same thing. Right? That it's just like they all said it, that is one of the things that stood out to them is Hank Brennan lied to them, and none of them liked that. And so how can you say Hank Brennan did a job when they're all citing Hank's unethical behavior and the trick that he tried to pull on them as a reason why they acquitted her? Like, Hank didn't have to do that. Why, if she was really guilty, why would he lie to the jury about what happened to the sweatshirt? Why? He wouldn't need to do that if she was guilty. The facts would convict her, right?
April 2025, key witness Jen McCabe takes the stand. She's questioned about her Google search, which is how long to die in the cold. Did you find her testimony credible?
How long to die in the cold?
What could be more egregious?
Yeah. I mean, even with Whiffen, when he did his whole thing about the Celebrite and everything with the phone, oh, if you bring up something, it's going to be from there, whatever. But yet, and still, he didn't say definitively that it couldn't be. And I was like, no one's giving me still solid evidence. And I'm like, if he was like, yeah, this is when it happened, this is what happened, yeah, I would have been like, okay, that's one strike, but this still wasn't a strike because himself, just like so many other experts, couldn't even say that she hit him with the car. So
wow. Fucking love this guy. He's like, even Whiffen didn't say that it wasn't a possibility that Jennifer McCabe Googled that at 2:27 in the morning. Even their own handpicked expert, their mercenaries who were brought in to say that Jennifer McCabe didn't Google that at 2:27, even they couldn't say that. Even they couldn't definitively rule it out. Unbelievable. He picked up on everything. You remember, that's fucking great. Because she did Google that at 2:27. You know why she Googled that at 2:27? Because Turtle Boy is right. That's why. Because Turtle Boy was right. That's why she Googled that.
Now, was there anything else that Jen McCabe said while she was testifying that you found to be curious?
Well, a lot of her.
Give me your top three.
She lied to the agency, FBI.
And how did you find out about that?
That I found out right then.
I watched the trial.
They were saying they wouldn't say FBI, they would say agency, and not slow.
Did this guy watch the trial? So he immediately brings up the fact that she lied to the feds. That's one of the top takeaways.
Oh, I understood what other agents.
Hold on.
And how did you find out about that?
That I found out right then because they were saying they wouldn't say FBI, they would say agency, and not slow. I understood what other agency would be investigating this case.
He knew it was the feds. He knew they tried so hard. Auntie Bev did to prevent the jury. I know, right? We didn't even hear from Rich Green. He didn't even need to hear from Rich Green. He didn't even need to hear from Rich Green. Imagine he heard from Rich Green. I wish they brought Rich Green on. I would have liked, that's the only thing I regret about this case is they didn't go for the overkill. I can understand not calling Higgins and the McAlberts and all them because that could go wrong. I wish they called Rich Green, and I wish they called Garrett Wing. Those are the two that I'm like, I really wish they called. And I wish that Michael Easter was allowed to testify. Michael Easter should have been allowed to testify. I also would have liked to hear, the one I really wanted to hear from was their stupid dog, Jim Crosby. Remember Dr. Jim Crosby, another fake doctor? Dr. Jim Crosby would have been like, I mean, he has got a, he was the one that was going to explain that they're not dog bites. And they didn't even call him. Why? Because it would have been a disaster like Man Shannon. And he like, so again, they didn't even present anyone that could say that they're not dog bites. They had no one that could say they weren't dog bites. They had Judd the Chud. That's as close as they got. Came from Taylor. You know? Came from Taylor. Yeah. Yeah. Shut up, Judd.
So I was like, okay, agency. And
so
she
knew,
automatically said.
So he knew it was the feds. I found, because she tried hard not to let them know. And once you know the feds are involved, once you know that the feds were involved in this, you know something's up. Like, bro, the feds investigated this shit? Then why are we here right now? Why are we here? Why is there a trial going on? If this is so shady that the federal government investigated it, who cares if they're indictments? Why are the feds investigating? Like, time out. Let's just stop. This isn't right.
Oh, what was it? Oh, I didn't know who was there or something. And she was trying to, and she said her explanation was, I didn't get to brush my teeth. I just woke up and all this other stuff. And I was like, I could use that. Does that work? And when you're talking to the FBI, I was like, okay, I see. But again, but then Jackson.
I can use that. I can just tell them that I was brushing my teeth. Oh, good enough. I can just use that. Huh? This guy's hilarious. Wow.
I'm kind of
the defense attorney, Al
yes,
Jackson.
He led her on the path like she was being able to tell the truth and everything, and then got her again because she started with, when you went back into the house and did you talk to anyone? And she was like, no, I only talked to 3 people. And he was like, only 3 people. And then she's like, yes, it was only 3 people. And then she recanted the story again, saying, and Jackson was like, but it was 5. And didn't you call your husband? And then she also called Proctor or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's another strike. All right.
It wasn't Proctor. It was Brian Albert. But still, it's someone. She failed to mention that who are the 5 people she called? Lally, right? Didn't she call Lally or Steve Nelson or someone from the DA's office? The DA's office, I think she admitted to that one. Matt McCabe, she admitted to that one, because these are normal people that she would call. And Brian Albert, it was a Peg O'Keefe. Was she the one that she called and lied about calling Peg O'Keefe? Bro, she called, imagine how much she shit her pants. And Kerry Roberts. So I think she admitted to Kerry, but didn't admit to Peg, right? It was Peg and Brian Albert who she didn't admit to calling, because that's odd when you're called Peg O'Keefe. Why would you call Peg O'Keefe when the feds are at your door? Why? And you know why she called Peg O'Keefe, why she called Peg Leg. Well, I mean, think about that. Okay, she calls Kerry. Why? Have the feds visited you? What's going on here, Kerry? Kerry's the one she had to control. Matt McCabe. What do I do, honey? What do I do? The feds are here. Well, don't fucking lie to them. I'll tell you that much. Don't do that. Who else? Who else should I call? Okay, Kerry. Call Steve Nelson and see, like, why are the feds here? Did you guys send them here? And Steve Nelson probably told him, fuck if I know. It's news to me. What's going on here? And by the way, we have her text messages from April 10th, and they're impounded. I know what she said. I know what she did. I know it's outrageous. Someone should FOIA those. They might be able to get them to you. Who knows? Get the messages, the text that Jen sent on April 10th. On D-Day, when this all went down. Anyway, but she also called Brian Albert, which is why would you call Brian Albert if the feds are at your door? I can understand the husband, whatever, but how do you, Brian Albert, why would you call him? Because he's in charge. Because he's in charge of overseeing this whole fucking operation. Why would you call him? And why would you call Peg Leg? I'll tell you why you would call Peg Leg. Because she needs, for the same reason she called Kerry Roberts, to make sure things are cool. Did they tell Peg what I Googled? She's sussing Peg out. That's what she was doing on April 10th. She's sussing her out.
The case was leaning one way, and it kept on leaning one way, and up until the very end. So.
Did the jurors find it curious that nobody inside the house on Fairview came outside while you had a host of police officers attending the body of John O'Keefe?
Not initially. When we was deliberating, yes, we all found like it was very odd that no one went into the house and no one was able to even any pictures of the garage, any pictures of the door of the garage, any of it. We was not privy to looking at, talking about, or anything. So
what you were privy to, and what the observers of the case outside the courtroom weren't, were the actual crime scene and autopsy photos. Can you talk a little bit about the condition of John O'Keefe's body when you saw those photos?
Well, initially I was like, let me hear from the forensic person who worked on his body afterwards. Even she said there was inconclusive evidence that he was hit by a car. And I was like, okay. And then you look at his arm and the 32 abrasions on the arm, but only 9 entries in the sweater. So it's like, what are we doing here? Like, how are you supposed to have 32 pieces of shattered tail light go through nine holes and make all those scratches and stuff?
That's such a good point. Their story was so retarded. How do you have 32 pieces of tail light go through 9 holes? And they're all shaped like teeth. They're all puncture holes. And the tail light went through those holes. I mean, I still am embarrassed for them that this is what they did. Like, this is the story that they went with. I can't believe they did this with the straight face. I can't believe anyone would believe any of this stuff. It's just so insane that anyone would believe that a tail light did that to his arm. How?
So it was like, okay. And then 𝗲𝗏. So
yeah, let's talk about 𝗲𝗏 the dog for a moment. First of all, this dog or missing dog now rivals Stephen King's Cujo as the most terrifying pet in American history. Karen Reed's attorneys argued that the injuries to O'Keefe's arms were consistent with dog bites. A defense witness, Dr. Marie Russell, said that was the case. Did the jury believe her testimony?
We were still on the fence with the dog. Well, not the dog bites, more or less, because they was going back and forth. Is she a credible witness or whatever? It was like, I don't even have to lean on the dog bites or anything. All the other evidence and everything else is already telling the true story. So, and basically with
interesting that they were debating. So Hank was effective in that way about like making her seem. They were actually debating whether or not Dr. Marie Russell, like the most credentialed and qualified person in America, was credentialed and qualified. So I guess that's one good thing Hank did, is he got these jurors to like question her.
With the dog bites, it's like, what happened to the dog? Where's the dog at? Why didn't we someone go and figure out with forensics of the teeth and everything? Ooh. And none of that was able because they didn't get rid.
Why didn't they get? Oh yeah, the forensic. Oh, they did. They had a guy, Dr. Jim Crosby, did that. He's got a molding, but we talked about it in pre-trial hearings. We didn't get to see it in the trial because Hank didn't call his star witness. Hank just didn't call him.
Rid of it. They rehoused the dog. So
look at it.
And that was just basically right after O'Keefe's death, correct?
No.
From what I heard, the
like
daughter took the dog and whatever, and they got rehoused twice.
The daughter took it,
and then they changed the dog's name also.
Witness protection for pets, right?
Yeah,
Cora.
Much.
Cora.
Now, one witness that you didn't hear from in the second trial was Massachusetts State Trooper Michael Proctor. Now, we all heard him in the first trial recite those horrible text messages about her. In the second trial, his sergeant testified, and that got pretty intense. Do you feel that the defense's assertion of police corruption in this case, both from the Canton police and the state police, was accurate and warranted?
Very accurate.
Oh!
At the time, I was open-minded. I was willing to listen
Very
to both sides.
accurate.
If she hit him or if there is corruption, and then the corruption outweighed her hitting him with the car. So it was kind of like any of us going to trial, and you had all those evidence and everything else. Yeah, we're going to jail. It's just that simple.
So you think it was police officers protecting police officers in this case?
Oh, for sure. All up and down the whole thing. So, and
for
it's
sure.
kind of sad, but it's true. But you got to think about it.
Dude, he is certain of it. He's like, oh, for sure. This guy is so wise. It's just like this guy is every man. You know, this guy was the average trial watcher watching this. Like, oh, for sure. Thank God. Again, I remember looking at these people every day when they come in there and just thinking like, bro, millions of people are watching this right now. And you guys are the only ones whose opinion matters. Just you guys. And I don't know anything about you. I don't know what you're thinking. After the first trial, I was a little jaded. I cannot believe anyone even debated if he was hit by a car. I cannot even believe that. And this guy's up here just saying, yeah, like no doubt police corruption. No doubt they're covering for each other. No doubt.
Protecting their brothers, and they're willing to do whatever to protect their brothers.
That gets me to my next point here. I want to talk about your opinion of former Boston police officer Kelly Deaver. She's a former Canton police officer.
No, Dever.
Oh, Dever, I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Thank you.
No.
That's right. She's the former Canton PD officer who recanted her claim that she saw ATF agent Brian Higgins spending a lot of time with Reed's SUV in the Sally Port garage. Talk a little bit about her testimony and what that revealed to you and the rest of the jurors.
Well, we already seen the video of the Sally Port, and then to hear her testimony, it was just like, oh, here we go. It matched perfectly for corruption. Not even corruption, just witness evidence tampering.
So the video, in your opinion, was manipulated?
Well, the video was definitely manipulated because if you look at the video that they showed us in court, it started at like 5:15 and then it jumped to 5:50. And I was like, so where's the rest of the video? And I was like, okay. And they didn't say anything else about it. And we moved on with the trial, and then we hear 𝗻𝗲. And I was like, oh, so now this makes more sense and everything. And now I don't really have to put two and two together. Here it is.
And then 𝗻𝗲 gets up on the stand and claims that that was all a false memory.
Yes.
Again, all of this just shows that if everything he's saying right now is evidence that if the McAlberts were truly innocent, then the people that they should be suing are the Massachusetts State Police and the Canton Police. They should be suing them because of the 30 whatever minutes of missing Sally Port garage video tape, right? Because of that, this juror thinks that she's not guilty and that they're hiding something and that they're protecting the McAlberts. Right? So if the police just weren't shady, if they weren't deleting evidence and getting rid of all this stuff and videos and blah, 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 if they weren't doing that, then he would be inclined to believe that the McAlberts are innocent. But instead, the opposite happened. That's why people think that they're guilty, because of the police. The police are the reason why people think they're guilty.
The false memory, because she spoke to an agency and they told her that it was a false memory, so you don't have to testify to that.
Oh, yeah.
And that she left at 3:45. And she wasn't even there at the time that they was supposedly in the Sally Port. But if you was doing overtime, anyone could fix your timesheet if they really wanted to, but here nor there. But
now she eventually transferred to the Boston Police Department, and it was reported that before her testimony, Boston Police Commissioner Michael Cox told her, quote, "Do the right thing." What do you think he meant by that?
That could mean one or two things.
We know what that means.
Do the right thing for your brothers, or do the right thing and just say what it is and take the heat for whatever happens afterwards. And which she did the right thing for her brothers.
That's what you thought?
I think she thought she was doing the right thing for her brothers, but
she didn't do the right thing for John O'Keefe, who was one of her brothers, right?
And in the end, she messed up her own self.
Now, she later resigned. And before that, though, Reed's attorney, Alan Jackson, who we've been talking about, petitioned to have her placed on the Brady list. Now, the Brady list is a compilation of law enforcement officers with credibility issues when it comes to testifying in court. Do you think that, and then he later asked that, most of the Boston police officers be put on the Brady list. How do you think he was overreaching there, or is that a serious problem?
No.
Well, yeah, he wasn't reaching.
Of course, she should be on the Brady list. She's not credible. She said that she told the FBI one thing and she just forgot it. She's the kind of person who forgets shit, who has false memories. I've never heard of such a thing, but she has these apparently. So maybe she shouldn't be allowed to testify if she has false memories, if that's like a problem that she has. Maybe I'm just thinking out loud here.
The truth, because even when Cox got interviewed later, he denied it, that he even knew about the case. I know little about the case and everything, but who doesn't know about the case? After the second trial, like who doesn't know about this case? So it just was also
the biggest case in America. How do you not?
The head of the Boston Police Department doesn't know.
That was another thing. Like,
that's a lie.
Like you could have just said, "Well, no comment," but you had to say, "I didn't know nothing about the case." You would have cleared all this up with saying no comment, but he wanted no parts of it. So that's what I kind of picked up on. So
both sides finally rest their case. They give their closing arguments, and deliberations begin on June 16th. Take us inside the jury room. Talk about a little bit about the evidence that the panel had to weigh the most with regard to the guilt or innocence of Karen Reed.
So when we got in there on Friday, it was Friday afternoon, and it was around like 2:30, and one of the other jurors had to leave at 4, so it wasn't much time to really deliberate. And then we have this room full of evidence that's been compiled over so many years, and now we're supposed to figure it out. So I'm like, wow. So we focused on everybody wanted to touch the tail light. We all got to touch the tail light and look at the tail light and see how it was tampered and everything with. And we all came to the conclusion was like, yeah, this is way different than the taillight we seen on the ARCA report, and their speed was 27 miles an hour, and hers supposedly speed was 24 miles an hour. And
wait,
it was
what?
like,
wait, hold on.
Why is there way more damage to this one than the 27 miles per hour?
I want to see that again.
one?
Hold on.
And he wanted
When it comes to testify in court. Do you think that, and then he later asked that
even when Cox got interviewed, it just was also
the biggest case in America.
Well,
How do you not know
I
about
wanna
this
hear
case?
this again. Hold
and
on.
so that was another thing. Like you could have just said, "Well, no comment," but you had to say, "I didn't know nothing about the case." You would have cleared all this up with saying no comment, but he wanted no parts of it. So that's what I kind of picked up on. So
both sides finally rest their case. They give their closing arguments, and deliberations begin on June 16th. Take us inside the jury room.
June 16th. It was actually on June 13th, but go ahead.
Talk about a little bit about the evidence that the panel had to weigh the most with regard to the guilt or innocence of Karen Read.
So when we got in there on Friday, it was Friday afternoon.
Yeah, it was Friday.
And it was around like 2:30. And one of the other jurors had to leave at 4, so it wasn't much time to really deliberate. So, and then we have this room full of evidence that's been compiled over so many years, and now we're supposed to figure it out. So I'm like, wow.
A juror had to leave at 4. I'd be like, not guilty. Let's get the fuck out of here. How badass would that have been if they were just like, not guilty. Can we just, I don't want to come back Monday. Not guilty. And that would not have surprised me. That would have been such a power move, but.
So we focused on everybody wanted to touch the tail light. We all got to touch the tail light and look at the tail light and see how it was tampered and everything with. And we came to the conclusion like, yeah, this is way different than the tail light we seen on the ARCA report. And their speed was 27 miles an hour, and hers supposedly speed was 24 miles an hour. And it was like, why is there way more damage to this one than the 27 miles per hour one? And it's just like,
I mean, see, ARCA did something different in the second trial than the first trial. In the second trial, they had all those videos, man. They were so much better. In the first trial, ARCA 2.0 was fucking, I mean, Crash Daddies 2.0 was like amazing. And Crash Daddies will be at my trial too, if necessary. Because we're going to have to prove that Karen Read is innocent all over again. Because it'll justify everything I said. But man, remember how awesome those videos were? I'm like, oh shit, they got videos. In the first trial, ARCA was just like, okay, here's what happened. Here's the test we did. There was a potato cannon. It was really cool. Oh yeah, it was so fun. Potato cannon. And they were just talking about their testing, and it was very effective, right? And then it was a hung jury. And it's like, okay, hit them again. ARCA 2.0. And so ARCA 2.0 came in there, and they had videos, and they had Randy. Randy's no dummy. Well, there's Randy. Randy's no dummy, is he? Yeah, okay. And so ARCA 2.0, like those videos were just so amazing with the drones. The amount of money that they had like invested in this, it's like crazy. And then they're busting their chops about how did you pay them? Yeah, dude, that shit ain't cheap. What I just saw there, that looked expensive. For some reason, she had to like spend all that money just to like prove the obvious. And so, yeah, Rescue Randy got fucked up, but he didn't bring any bones. And yeah, the antis were like, oh my God, the tail life shattered. ARCA proved the point for us. You heard what he said. It wasn't shattered like that. That was shattered a lot more. And he's like, and that car was going 27 miles an hour. Well, Karen was driving 24, and the taillight shattered even more. Why the fuck is it so shattered? Yeah. You know why it's so shattered? Because Michael Proctor never, ever, ever envisioned a day in which the federal government would hire one of the most renowned companies in the world that's hired by NASA and the NHL and others. He never saw the day in which the FBI would hire such a prestigious company to look into how the taillight got damaged. He thought, we just smash it up and put it at the scene. No problem. We won't even put it at the scene. We'll just say we found it at the scene, and I'll put it in an evidence bag 18 months later. That's it. That's it.
And the first day we did not take a vote, but on Monday we took a vote. And
did any of the jurors think that it was plausible that Karen Read did hit John O'Keefe with a car?
There was several ones that wanted to dive more deeply into the evidence to answer their questions. And there was like 3 of them that one was there was particles on the clothing, and how did that particle on the clothing get there?
So the particles on the clothing, you know, the microscopic pieces embedded in the taillight, they love pointing to that. And I would point out, when did that evidence emerge? The microscopic pieces of the taillight in his clothing emerged in like July of 2023, 3 months after I started writing about this. Why did they not have that evidence before? It's almost as if they need to strengthen their case. And they're like, you know, we've planted enough. We're all in. That's when I'm like, dude, they're just going to keep doing shit. They are going down with this ship. Holy fuck. They're microscopic pieces of taillight embedded in it. Stop it. Stop it. But it was convincing. I mean, this is how framing works.
Versus from the taillight and everything. And I was like, if you really look at it and if you think about it, everything was in process for 6 months. How do you have a police officer's clothes that just was murdered and you don't process it right away?
Yes.
It took 6 months to process his clothes. When we look
more than that, it was 18 months to process his clothes. 18 months. 18 months. How do you not process his clothes? Dude, again, not till July of 2023 did they find that microscopic taillight embedded in the clothing. This guy just gets it, man. He like what we were thinking, like, wait a minute, why'd you take so long to do it? You know, the fact that there's microscopic pieces of taillight in his clothing like that is evidence of a frame job. Because how did it get there? He wasn't hit by a car. His arm never touched that taillight. There should not be any pieces of microscopic taillight in his clothing. There should not be any taillight found outside of 34 Fairview Road. It should not exist, and it shouldn't be there. The fact that it was there means the state police actively did it. Somebody did that. Was it Proctor? I don't know. Or was it 𝗵𝗂𝗄𝗆? Or was it Tully? Or was it the Chico? We don't know. The only one who really took one for the team is Proctor. Proctor should talk. I mean, let me talk to you a little bit, Mikey Proctor. Okay, listen, Chip. You're going through tough times. Okay. Out of everything that's happened, the only person who's fucked here is you. No one else is fucked. You had to read all those messages on there. Your phones were gone through. Brian Albert, they never went through Brian Albert's phone, and you actively protected Brian Albert. What's Brian Albert done for Mikey Proctor? Huh? What has Brian Albert done for Chip? I know you guys worship that guy. You suck his fucking dick for some reason. But what's he done for you? Besides cause you problems. What has Brian Albert done for you? We know what you've done for Brian Albert. And that's why Julie Daniels wanted to buy you a gift. You probably should have taken her up on that. Right? All the Albert family has done is cause you problems, brother. And you've lost your job. And Brian Albert's got a nice pension. Brian Albert's fine. He's in court suing me and shit, crying about witness intimidation. His indictments against me still stand. Yours don't. They didn't believe you were a victim. They believed he was. So, you know, you tell me what your wife is going to leave you if she hasn't already. She's reportedly not wearing her ring at work and is going by Syracuse. You're done, Chippy. You're done. You're done. Everybody's abandoning you. It's time for Chip Proctor to look out for Chip Proctor for once. Okay? You've gone out of your way to look out for other people who aren't you. It's time for Chip to start thinking about Chip. It's time for Deaver to start thinking about Deaver. You know, it's time for Sean Goode to start looking out for Sean Goode. I mean, it's time. Why are you guys protecting these scumbags? Why? Why? What are they doing for you? What have the McAlberts done to any of these people except cause them problems? Sean Goode doesn't have a job because of the McAlberts. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. They would not be looking into his messages with Michael Proctor if Turtle Boy wasn't right. And we know what that means. Okay. If Turtle Boy wasn't right, then Sean Goode's phone would not be investigated, would it? All of their problems are because Turtle Boy was right. That's where all their problems come from. And they're just like, they don't seem upset by it. When are they going to wake up and realize it's time for Chippy Proctor to start looking out for Chippy Proctor? Because everyone has abandoned Chip. He's all alone. No one likes him. It's time for Chip Proctor. Just wait. He'll never be welcomed here. He's a piece of, he'll always be garbage. But from a selfish perspective, Chip Proctor should start looking out for Chip Proctor. And he should start telling the truth because he knows shit. He knows a lot of shit. He knows who put that microscopic taillight in sweater. Like, I wonder if he's still social with 𝗵𝗂𝗧𝗏 and them. You ever think about that? Did they only socialize because they work together, or are they like real life friends? Does he still get invited to the barbecues? He's kind of a disgrace. Does 𝗵𝗂𝗧𝗏 want to be associated with him? Does Tully want to be associated with him? I don't know. Does John Fanning want to be associated with him? I don't know. I'm sure the Chico does, but I don't know. Does 𝗄𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃 want to be associated with them? All those guys that were on the call. I mean, the one guy that read the messages out loud in court for Chippy Proctor, he said he's still friends with him. So you tell me. You tell me, Chippy, what's it going to be, pal? What's it going to be? When does Chip Proctor start looking out for Chip Proctor? And where is Diva working at now? So she's trying to become a teacher. I've said this before. She is actively applying to be an elementary school teacher. And it's not working out well because they are sending them to me. The people that are on the receiving end of these resumes are telling me, holy shit, Diva is trying to get a job at my school. Bro, like, Kelly Diva, you're too famous. You can't get a job. You're never going to get a teaching job. You're Diva, okay? You're a joke. It's time for Kelly Diva to start looking out for Kelly Diva. Talk about somebody who no one was looking out for. That's you, girl. Come to daddy. Daddy will take good care of you over here. No judgment. We know you lied. You know, we know that you didn't have a false memory. We know that you were just trying to be a company team player, right? And how'd that work out for you? Come to daddy. Daddy will take care of you over here, right? We're not going to let them hurt you, girl. Come to daddy, please. We'll make everything's going to be okay, Kelly. Daddy makes everything okay. I'll console you. You can cry a little bit if you want. You can just be yourself. I'm not going to tell anybody about it. And you can just tell me all your secrets. Tell me everything you saw. Tell me all your false memories, girl. Tell me about them. Talk to daddy. Come on. It's just me and you, Kelly. It's me and you here. And Chip, the three of us. We can have a nice little talk. What'd you see there? Yeah. Is Higgy returning your calls? Is he helping you out? Because you looked out for him. I know 𝗵𝗏𝗃's dead, so you don't have to worry about him anymore. Come on. Come on, girl. Do the right thing. Do the right thing as Michael Cox, because Michael Cox doesn't care about you. Oh, big Cox there. Yeah. You took one for the team, didn't you? You were really concerned about losing your job, and then you lost your fucking job. So anyway, back to this.
Got the paper bag. It said June 11th or something or June 12th. I'm like, 6 months later. I was like, right there, if you already have mysteriously 42 pieces of taillight, and now you don't think someone could break up a couple of little pieces and sprinkle it on clothing to make sure it corroborates with the evidence that's going on with it, whatever. And after some time, that juror was like, you're right.
Really?
So
hold on.
That was 6 months later. I was like, right there, if you already have mysteriously 42 pieces of taillight, and now you don't think someone could break up a couple of little pieces and sprinkle it on clothing to make sure it corroborates with the evidence that's going on with it, whatever. And after some time, that juror was like, "You're right." So
wow.
Then the next piece was
very interesting that they convinced. He's explaining how they flipped these jurors that were like, let's talk about the facts. And like, what about the taillight? And he's like, no, we got an explanation for that. Here's how that could get there. And she's like, you're right. It could get there. That's reasonable doubt, isn't there? That's reasonable doubt.
The next juror that was upset was the one with, she wanted to know when was the first piece found. And I was like, oh, okay. So we went through video footage and we tried to go into evidence, but the first piece wasn't found until 5:50. So she was like, oh, it's not found until 5:50. And she's like, well, when was the car in the Sally Port? The car was in the Sally Port at 5:39. But I think it was in there earlier than that. But it was at 5:39, and it only took 3 minutes to get from the police station to Fairview.
Oh,
so that's more than enough time to clear pieces of evidence.
Oh, he gets it, bro. He gets the timeline. Plevin, you hear that, Plevin? They loved it. There's not enough time to get from the Sally Port to that. Oh, yes, there was. This motherfucker knows his timeline. He knows his timeline, doesn't he? And all, like, why didn't they find it earlier? Dude, he knows it. This guy knows the case. He just sat there and didn't take any notes, and he knew all this shit. This is fucking amazeballs.
So June 18th, 2025, it's the fourth day of deliberations. You finally reach your verdict. What was the mood inside the jury room and the courtroom when that verdict was announced?
Good question.
Oh, it was heavy because at one thing I didn't want to like give this citing not guilty, and then to see moms and brother and the dad over there, and
so you were thinking about the victims too.
And I was like, I'm not just gonna. I know this is definitely a celebration for Karen, but at the same time, this is heartbreaking for a mother. Now I don't even have a person to blame for all this misfortune in my life. But it was just like, so I went there and I was trying to be monotone when I gave out the verdict of not guilty. But even when that happened, I mean, it was intense because before I got to the last not guilty, the crowd erupted. It was already cheering like it was a basketball stadium outside and everything. And I was like, oh, and we was asked a couple of more questions, and so say you, and then he asked us we went to the back to where we deliberated, and there were several people crying.
Really?
And it was just a kind of overwhelming feel in the room. So
wow.
So a few days after that verdict, Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan.
Imagine being in that jury room afterwards when this was done. That's interesting shit right there. I'd love to hear more about that. Like first of all, I would ask, like, what about the false one? Remember you guys had the close call there? You said you had a verdict, then you were like, psych, what's up with that? Like, what was these steps? Like, why did I still want to know why it took 3 days? You know, I want to hear more about that, about this DUI thing, and the juror number 3 had. I want to know more about that. I feel like we haven't got the full story. And I would like to hear about that. What it was like afterwards when you guys went back to the jury room. And he said there were people crying. That's pretty interesting. That's emotional, I'm sure. Like sometimes we forget what the jurors went through. Like the pressure that they were under. And hearing those people scream outside and cheer, that must have felt good for them. Like we did the right thing. Not that they were doing that to please those people, but like we got it right. We got it right. That's really interesting. But that they were crying when they got back. Anyway, back to this.
Said flat out that you got the verdict wrong, saying that your decision threatened the integrity of our judicial system.
Oh my God.
What would you say to Hank Brennan if he were in this audience today?
No, we didn't get it wrong. You just didn't have the right evidence. You didn't have the right witnesses that could convict her. And that's really what it was. And the integrity, it's already been tainted a long time ago.
That is a good question.
Officers and all the text messages and everything else. That's what shreds the integrity. So
wow.
This case is far from over, and its ripple effects continue to spread.
He's like, nah, we didn't get it wrong, bro. You just fucked up, Hank. We would have convicted her if you gave us a reason to. You did not give us a reason to, brother. Sorry. That's your fault, not mine.
First, disgraced trooper Michael Proctor tried to get his job back, then gave up his fight after thousands of disturbing texts were found on his cell phone relating to other cases. Now as many as 20 other prosecutions are in jeopardy, including the murder of Anna Walsh in Cohasset, allegedly at the hands of her own husband.
No,
How do you think Proctor's behavior in those cases will impact future juries?
Well, because it shows a lot of implicit bias on his side and just
implicit.
I didn't read any of those text messages, but
if they're similar to the ones that you heard in the Kearney retrial,
it's not too good for him. So,
and it's not too good for the
case,
prosecutions
no.
in those other cases as well.
So anything he touched is right now tainted. It's all going to be questioned.
Karen Reed, as we all know, still faces a civil trial in the murder of her boyfriend, John O'Keefe. The bar regarding
keep in mind, like everybody knew he was like this. We've been reporting on this since April of 2023. Despite that, he still got positive job reviews, performance reviews from Brian Tully. He still gave him positive performance reviews after the fact.
Responsibility is set much lower in a civil trial. We saw that in the 1990s with the O.J. Simpson trial. Simpson was found not guilty in a criminal court, but was later found responsible for the murders of his wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ronald Goldman.
Oh, don't compare it to that.
Karen Reed's civil trial will fare?
I hope it doesn't fare the same way, because if she didn't hit him and she didn't kill your son, why are you going after her? She'd be going after whoever really killed your son.
So isn't that what you've been stressing?
From Turtle Boy was right. Oh, from the top rope. Oh, we got to play that one again. What did he say?
Since they're
the same way, because if she didn't hit him and she didn't kill your son, why are you going after her?
Oh,
how do you think the Karen Reed civil trial will fare?
I hope it doesn't fare the same way, because if she didn't hit him and she didn't kill your son, why are you going after her? She'd be going after whoever really killed your son.
Whoever really killed your son. Turtle Boy was right. Oh, shit. Oh, when is he getting sued? When's the defamation coming? This is a guy who listened to all of the evidence that Hank Brennan chose to present. He gave every piece of evidence he could to show the jury that Karen Reed was guilty. It was his job, and he heard it. And you know what his takeaway was? Someone else did it. Who? I'm being sued right now because I said someone else did it. A lot of people think someone else did. A lot of people think Turtle Boy was right. Remember, we don't say here. We don't say that anymore. We don't say that the McAlberts did it, because that is defamatory. We don't want to upset 𝗵𝗵𝗃. We don't want to upset 𝗵𝗵𝗃. And the Golden Knights have won game 1 of the Stanley Cup final, in case you wonder. But we don't want to upset 𝗵𝗵𝗃. So we don't say that the McAlberts killed someone. We say Turtle Boy was right instead, because we talk in code around here. And so he just said Turtle Boy was right. He said someone else did it. We all know who, Steve. We all know who.
So isn't that what you've been stressing since the end of the trial, that there is a killer still out there that needs to be prosecuted?
Yes. And it just doesn't seem like anyone's caring about what happened in that house. No one is. So
that case is still open because there wasn't a conviction.
Yes.
But do you think it's active?
Do I think that someone's still looking into the case?
Right.
Probably not really. Until they have to, and until they're up under that microscope where they have to get results. But if no one is really trying to get results, but what Jackson did in the civil trial is he countersued all of them.
So he's been on the defensive.
Exactly. So now they have to try to prove their innocence.
So going back to your personal experience, did the Karen Reed trial leave you with a positive or a negative feeling about our judicial system?
What do you think?
You already know the answer.
What kind of question is that?
I'm not, I mean,
we've got some young criminal justice students here in this crowd. What would you
picture him being like? Yeah, made me feel real positive. Yeah, the guy with the man bun in the front, he loved it. That guy, awesome man bun, bro. Yeah, felt great. I mean, this guy was actually asking some good questions until then. What a stupid question. But anyway, somebody in that house, he said.
Tell them, give up or keep fighting.
Well, it takes one to make a change. So I say keep fighting regardless of the fact, because I could easily swayed with the prosecution and just listen to what they had to say and what was ever in front of me and go against the grain. Don't care. Just,
follow the evidence.
Yeah. All the evidence, look at it, make sure it's right, but it's a messed up, corrupted system that's been way before I was born, way before any of us was born, that's been implanted into the system.
System.
Now, you've got an incredible story to tell, and you've shared a little bit about that with us today. I understand that you're working on a book. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that process and where you are?
Right now, we're in the early stages of the book, or
he's
trying to shop it around and everything. But it's basically detailing my life.
So it's gonna be part memoir and part
the grift.
Retrial. Yes.
I love it. Hey,
well, you know,
if you're not grifting off of this as a juror, I don't know what to tell you. This is the ultimate grifting opportunity. Good for him.
well, let's give another round of applause for Mr. 𝗵𝗫𝗂𝗧𝘂𝗍𝗶. We have time for a few questions, so if anybody in the audience wants to raise their hand. George Regan, yes.
Obviously, 𝗵𝗫𝗂𝗧𝘂𝗍𝗲 passed away. Mother came and grabbed.
How is the audience that empty? Like, how is the audience sitting this?
We have time for a few questions, so if
Look at all the empty seats.
anybody in the audience wants to raise their hand. George Regan, yes.
Obviously, 𝗵𝗫𝗂𝗧𝘂𝗍𝗲 passed away. Mother came and grabbed son. So 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏.
What?
George Regan just asked the number one question here. This is like a Knives Out scenario. Who is the killer, in your opinion? You may not want to say that.
Well,
why not?
Could be Brian Higgins, could be the son. It could have been even an accident, but they overplayed the scenario and the situation. It could be multiple.
It could be Brian Higgins. Whoa, you can't say that. You're not allowed. Is he going to sue me for playing this? Please don't sue me, Christopher Matty, anymore. You already sued me enough. I'm so scared of you. You and the 𝗬𝗏𝗂𝗃. I'm so scared of the 𝗬𝗏𝗃. I get it. But this is this guy just said that maybe Higgins did it. You can't say, you're not allowed to say that. Higgins just lost 5 more pounds because of you. Way to go, Charlie.
Things, but
Do you think if she was charged with manslaughter, not second-degree murder, would it have been more likely that she would have been found guilty?
Yes, yeah, because then she would have not felt like it was she could overcome that.
And some of the jurors might have been more swayed toward that.
It was a lesser of a charge than murder.
I don't understand the answer to that one. That makes no sense to me. So if she was just charged with manslaughter, you guys might have acquitted her, but you might have convicted her, but you acquitted her on it. You had the opportunity to convict her of manslaughter, and you didn't. So I don't understand that.
And stuff. So
she was convicted. One of the charges was operating under the influence, and I know you had a role in deciding that. Talk a little bit about that.
So day 4 of deliberations, we went in there.
Here we go.
And we already took a tally of does anyone feel like that she actually hit him with the car? No.
Oh.
We even had like poster boards around the deliberating room where it was what was it? Reasonable doubt, manslaughter, and all these charges and everything. And we even what an OUI is, and we had 4 jurors. 2 wanted to convict her of the OUI, and 2 was relentless of not charging with any of it. I also didn't want to charge her anything, and we didn't find.
Wow. So there's 2 jurors that were insistent that she not be convicted of DUI. This confirms, this is the first time I'm ever hearing this. Paula said something different. So this is different from what Paula said. And I wish there was like a transcript of this, that they had their minds made up. Like, bro, we were all out there Monday, Tuesday, waiting on them. What's going on there? What are they doing? Is this good? Is this bad? Little did we know this was all. They were just like, yeah, she didn't hit him. Everybody agreed she didn't hit him. And they were all just like, they were just talking about the DUI, which is exactly what we thought they might be talking about.
Her
I'm gonna hear it again.
For what was it? Reasonable doubt, manslaughter, and all these charges and everything. And we even what an OUI is, and we had 4 jurors. 2 wanted to convict her of the OUI, and 2 was relentless of not charging with any of it.
So 2 wanted to convict her of an OUI, which was the defense's plan. Like, if you guys want to convict her of this. And 2 were like, nope, not even that. Fuck that. There's no evidence. They shouldn't have convicted her of a DUI. That was bullshit. If this was just an OUI trial, There's no way she would have been convicted of it. No freaking way. Nobody's ever been convicted. People get away with DUIs on some crazy shit, you know? But like, especially like you didn't do blood alcohol testing at the scene. You didn't do a sobriety test, the walking, you did nothing. Well, you got some comments on Dateline. Okay. That's it.
I also didn't want to charge her anything. If we didn't find her guilty of hitting him, I didn't want to charge her with nothing. But I knew, and also the other two jurors knew, that the other two was going to hang the jury if she didn't get charged with OUI. So I was willing to sway.
They were going to hang. Wow. Who were those cunts? Who are those two? Imagine, and thank God they literally caved. This is amazing information that they're like, we cannot let this hang. That they gave up their principles and they said, fine, fuck it. Convict her of DUI. It's better for her if we convict her of DUI than make her go through a third trial. Wow. He said that. Those are his words. That they were going, that the two jurors that were like pushing this is, am I the first person to play this and analyze this? Has anyone else gone over this? This is my first time hearing this. That there's two jurors in there that were insistent that she be convicted of DUI. And if not, they were going to hang. Remember the juror questions? Wasn't this one of the juror questions? Can we hang on what? Will the whole thing get hung? And they were just like, no. Like, what men of principle? Huh? The people, maybe it was women of principle too. From what I'm told, there was two women that were pushing for the, there was two women, the pregnant one and the older one who interviewed on WCVB. Those are the only two that first were like, yeah, I think she might've done it, you know? And then they just talked them out of it real quick. And then they were probably sticking to the DUI too. Like, wow, it's fascinating. Fascinating stuff for this. You know, now we know for the first time, it's like undeniable that they literally were, that multiple jurors just said, had the foresight to say, okay, fine. I don't think she's guilty of DUI, but I am willing to convict her of this crime to save her. That's what they did, to save her life from a possible third jury, which they can't control, who might not be as smart as them, you know, that they're like, okay, fine. Like, I'll just convict her of DUI, even though I don't really believe it. You know, I don't really believe it.
And say, at least it's a lesser charge, and a year of whatever, of probation or whatever, is a slap on the wrist. But the other gentleman, he looked at the whole charges. He's like, she could look at 2 years in jail if she was convicted of even OUI or whatever, and being her first offense or whatever. And when that happened, he was the one, we actually had a verdict, and we was like, oh, it was probably around like 11:55. We had the verdict in.
Wow.
And they said pizza's here. So we was like, oh, we're gonna eat first before we give him the verdict. So he was gonna eat, we was eating. The verdict, I signed both of them.
Gotta get your
I signed all three of them. It was under my pizza. And
wow.
And I looked over at one of the jurors, good friend of mine now. And I looked at him and he looked distraught. And he still was like weighing on
juror 3.
Like, and he gave me that. I looked over and he gave a sigh, and I said, "What's up? You okay?" And then he looked at me and said, "Could I take back my vote?" So at that time, I heard a lot of sucking of teeth and a lot of sighs in the room. Like, what's going on here? And I know a lot of eyes was on me, like, tell him no, tell him no, tell him no. And I was like, wait, let me talk to the bailiff. And I talked to the bailiff. The bailiff's like, no, fine, no, it's okay, take your time. And if you come back with and take your time with your decision, I'm gonna go talk to the judge and everything. He went to go back, talk to the judge, and he said, so your verdict, the first verdict that you had, put it in an envelope, we're gonna seal it, and we can give it to the judge. No one's gonna look at it or whatever. But within 20 minutes after him overlooking some evidence and stuff, he went with guilty also for OUI. So
he didn't look at evidence.
So it isn't a negotiation when you're in that room.
Wow. Wow. Bombs being dropped, knowledge bombs. This is like Karen Reed case porn right here. This is amazing. Just put it in my veins. So this is exact that it's juror number 3, the guy that I didn't like. And he's the one that went to David Yannetti afterwards. And he was like, he conceded to get the fuck out of there and to avoid a third trial. He's like, fine, I will vote guilty on DUI because these other bitches are going to hang the jury if we don't do that. And so, but even that, he was eating his pizza and he was just like, bro, I don't even want to do that. I have to speak to juror 3. Can we get him on here? I know someone who knows him. Can we get him on? That guy sounds so cool. And I had that guy totally wrong. He was also called to the side bench one time, or very early on in the trial. He was called by Judge Kearney. I don't know what they said to him at the sidebar, but wow. And then he's like, finally, the little pizza. And he's like, he said he looked over the facts again, the evidence, and he said, fine. And now we know, like, remember we got, there's a verdict, but then there wasn't a verdict. And I knew at that point, I'm not going anywhere. I remember where I was when I found out. It was about 2:00. We were at the Salem Food Market. Fucking love it there. Everybody goes to Dedham House of Pizza, which is great Italian subs, good pizza. Love it there. A little crowded sometimes during the trial. So we went to the Salem Food Mart, which was like, dude, the turkey there is the best turkey I've ever had. It is so, a lot of turkey's dry. Okay. Their turkey is the best turkey I've ever had. You know where I tried it first? When I was in custody during court hearings. Like when I was in jail and they put you in the cells downstairs and they got to feed you. Well, the Salem Food Mart's where they get the food from. And I'm like, I got out of there. I'm like, I had the turkey sandwich from there. I'm like, I need that turkey again. I have to eat that turkey. It's the best turkey I've ever had. So we were there and I was getting turkey. Okay. And it was late because we were just so like, bro, the biggest news that day was the 𝗵𝗵𝗄 thing. Like 𝗵𝗵𝗄 hit a car and like broke, which should have been a sign from God. He slowly backed into a truck and broke the truck's taillight. Okay. Like it was like a sign from God. And I'm like, is this going to be the biggest news of the day? 𝗵𝗵𝗄 hit a car and did a hit and run. Like this is really going to be the biggest news of the day? No. And then I remember I was sitting there. Forget, it was me. Kelly Reed was with me. 5150, obviously. And I don't know if anyone else was there. There's like 3 or 4 of us maybe. And then she got a text from Karen saying we're being called back. I'm like, okay. But we'd been cock teased like this before about callbacks and questions, and this could be a hung jury thing. This could be another one of these, like, we don't know what to do. Remember they got the 𝗃𝗍 Rodriguez thing. They get back in there and come up with a decision, that one. It could be that. And so I remember walking back from the Salem Food Mart to the courthouse, and like everybody was kind of walking there, like, and there was a buzz to it, and people were like, what's going on? What's going on? Everybody was always asking me, like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Fuck if I know. And I'm like, I don't know. We're called back. You know the same shit I have. The buzz out there, like everybody knew the word out there. And so I started walking back to the courthouse and go inside. And we don't know what's going to happen. And Auntie Bev says, you all heard what I heard, right? That there was a verdict and they didn't have a verdict. And now we know the whole story why. But she was holding on to the sealed thing. And so then we all left and I didn't leave. I sat on the bench outside the courthouse and I'm like, oh, we'll be back in there very soon. I knew they were going to be back. And remember that happened at 2:27? At 2:27 that happened. I'm like, the 𝗵𝗄𝗄's breaking taillights at low speeds. We got 2:27 psych fake verdicts. So we got jurors asking questions which imply that they're not going to convict on anything except DUI. I'm not going anywhere. And I just sat there with Christina Rex, remember, and Charlie McKenna from Mass Live. And I saw Jim walk by, and Christina Rex asked him, is there a verdict? He goes, yeah. Like it was like 10 minutes later. He's like, yeah, yep. And I remember I tweeted out, verdict is in. And Karen Reed's paralegals, after, when I was at the dinner with them afterwards, they told me that like we found out there was a verdict from you, from your Twitter feed. Like they didn't tell us. We found it from you on your Twitter feed. And so It was like the biggest cock tease, but now we know why. It's like one conflicted juror who felt morally wrong or like couldn't focus because he was voting guilty on DUI and he didn't think she was guilty on DUI. And that's fascinating. And why? Because under the statute, she could get 2 years, and he knows this judge is a raging see you next Tuesday. And he doesn't trust her, man. And I didn't trust her either. I'm like, she might sentence him. But we forgot about Hank. We underestimated Hank. Not that Hank is like a decent person, but that Hank is a coward. And that Hank would never show his face in that courthouse again for a sentencing. He wouldn't do it. That Hank was going to be like, fine, just whatever, probation, you know?
Especially when you have several different charges that you have to weigh against each other.
Yes.
Any other questions? President Rich, he gets first priority.
One of the things I read was that they filled in the swimming pool. Was that ever presented as evidence?
No.
No, none of that. Not even the house, not even the doors, nothing. Nothing was, anything dealing with the house.
That's a different house.
It was off limits.
That was a different house.
We didn't get to see in the house. We didn't get to see in the garage.
Even in your jury view, they didn't take.
We didn't get the view of outside the house.
Okay.
They.
It's a different house, brother. It's Tim Albert's house you're thinking of. But go ahead.
They didn't even want us to look at the house. Only thing we was privy to was the hydrant, the flagpole, and the front lawn, and the berm. That's it.
Okay. Any other questions, folks? Yes.
How did the judge and like attorneys help ensure that like the jurors remain impartial and unbiased despite extensive media coverage?
Well, we was transported, and we went in we all met at a certain area. I can't say where because they still probably use it, but we met at a certain area where state troopers and a big charter bus was there. I got dropped off every morning, and we was shuttled to the courthouse afterwards.
So you weren't sequestered for the trial?
No.
Okay.
God, no.
No more questions?
Sucked.
If the dog Chloe, if they just took the DNA of the dog, wouldn't you have known if the dog would have been part of the?
So the question is, if either side had taken the DNA, or the investigators rather, had taken the DNA of the dog named Chloe, wouldn't they be able to match that with potentially the blood of John O'Keefe?
That's the problem with that, and I can answer that question for you, is that they lost the tissue samples from his arm. There's no arm tissue samples to match them up against. They tested the shirt for dog DNA, and it didn't have dog DNA on it, but it had pig DNA. So says Terry Kuhn. Terry Kuhn, I have very good sources who've told me that she basically told them, if you call me in, you fly me in from UC Davis again, I'm going to be 𝗫𝗄𝗄𝗏. I am going to be a hostile witness for Hank Brennan. She believes Karen Reed's innocent. She believes Karen Reed was framed. She does not trust the samples that she got from Michael Proctor. I'm sure she read all about this case after the first trial. She made it very clear to them that she was not going to be a good witness for Hank Brennan and the prosecution in trial 2, which is why they didn't call her, which is why they were unable to present any evidence to this jury in the second trial. Mark, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe in the second trial, they never presented evidence about a lack of dog DNA on his arm sleeve, right? Do I have that wrong? It's been a while. Maybe the chat can fill me in, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened, that they were unable to present. But then Hank tried saying, remember Hank tried saying that later on at some point, and there was almost a mistrial over that. Like you weren't allowed to, because if you want to say that, you got to call Terry Kuhn, right? I have this correct, don't I? Chat, you guys, it's got to be you guys know everything. I'm almost positive about this. It's been almost a year. But they did not call a witness in the second trial that testified that there was no dog DNA on his arm sleeve. Therefore, Hank could never mention that. And that's a big piece of evidence for the prosecution. They'd be like, dude, there's no dog DNA on there. And why didn't they bring in Terry Kuhn? Because she made it clear to them, I don't trust you, motherfuckers. The samples that you sent me, I don't trust you. And I'm going to make it clear to the jury when I testify that I did not vet these samples, that Michael Proctor could have wiped his ass with these samples. I don't know where these came from. You claim they came from something. I didn't see it. And I don't trust you. She made it clear to them. I'm not participating. If you want to call me, do it at your own peril. Do it. And I'm going to tell you what I really think. There's no other logical explanation for why Hank Brennan did not call Terry Kuhn in the second trial. He called Maureen Hartnett. He called all the criminalists. He called everyone who handled evidence, but not the person who tested John's clothing for dog DNA and who didn't find any dog DNA. How do you not call that witness if you're Hank Brennan? There's only one conclusion that you can reach, and that is that Terry Kuhn said, "Go fuck yourself." She's another one I'd love to get on here. I'm telling you, that woman knows Karen Reed's innocent, and she just, something about her in the first trial didn't sit right. She did not seem comfortable with that. But anyway, almost done here.
Well, they did test the so-called bite marks on the sweater, and they found pork on it.
Oh,
so,
wait a minute.
It could have been pork rind.
How does he know that? How does he know that? Did he watch the first trial, or did they? Am I missing something here? It's been a while. It's been almost a year. Did they present that in the second trial? He shouldn't know that, right? Unless he watched the first trial. Oh.
With the dog bite, with the dog treat or whatever. But here nor there, you know, they didn't really even go into that too much either, because anything dealing with the dog or the house or anything Albert, we really didn't go over in the case.
So you felt like you had your arms tied behind your back and not to this trial?
Especially with the house, yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Yep.
You mentioned at the beginning, you said you hoped you weren't selected to be jury. Has being selected left any impact on your life and being part of this case?
Well, first, my wife signed me up. She literally signed the paper and everything.
By the way, Emily C., who would know better than anyone, says, dog DNA sidebar during Marie Russell. Is that when she tried bringing it in? Is that when Hank tried bringing it in? I want to read that. Can you send that to me, Emily? I'd love to read that one. I want to read that one. I want to do a thing on Terry Kuhn.
And I was trying to dodge. I'm not gonna lie. I was trying to dodge jury duty once again. Suffolk County, they never got me. Norfolk County got me. But, and I mean, it hasn't really impacted my life at all in large part. I mean, I was out once at a Rebs game, and a guy came up to me like a week after the trial, and he was like, "Dude, this you?" And at first I was like, wait a minute, this could be good or bad right now. So I was like, yeah. And he was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? He's like, I'm not gonna blow up your spot. I'm not gonna blow up your spot, but great job. So that's awesome.
So far. So you haven't had any threats or comments on
comments on the websites and everything. It was all good. Much love. And
except for Krusty, except for when Krusty called you an Uncle Tom. I wonder if he knows about that.
Everything. I never got no backlash or anything.
Oh, you did. You definitely did.
What would Charlie's message be to John O'Keefe's mother?
Keep fighting, but it's hard because the evidence that you have compiled for your son has already been tainted by just shoddy police work. So it just sucks, and I feel for you because you may never get an answer.
So she should be blaming, in a sense, some of the investigators that didn't do their jobs?
Who didn't do their jobs, or who thought they could cover it up and put it on somebody else.
I wonder what Peggy O'Keefe thinks when she hears him say that. Either she takes it seriously or she's like, go fuck yourself. I think based on the Peggy O'Keefe I've seen, I think it's most likely the latter. I don't think she will ever consider anyone but Karen Reed. No way.
All right. Yeah, one more, Steve.
I know you said earlier that you've lost some confidence in the justice system. Now that you were on a jury and the trial went, obviously not where you felt it should have gone, right? Not guilty. At least the trial established some confidence back.
Well, established for myself in a certain way because I felt that if I didn't kind of press forth and try to look past all the the veil of whatever the prosecution was trying to put in front of us, so we get an innocent person convicted. I don't know. It's just sad in a certain way because there's a lot of us that's gonna fall victim to this.
But for anybody in the audience, Charlie, that might be chosen for a jury, especially a murder trial, what advice would you give to them?
It's so
No matter
true.
what.
Like when Dave Chappelle does the white guy impression, it's exactly like that. Hey, long time no see, stupid here, but welcome back. Welcome back with your witty commentary.
Innocent until proven guilty, and start with that.
Beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yes.
So the threshold is higher for the prosecution than it is for the defense in every case.
Yes. So,
okay. All right, Mr. Charlie 𝗿𝗏𝗺, everybody. I'm 𝗪𝗂𝗃 Sherman. Thank you, President Rich. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
All right.
And police department either, correct? Correct. Completely separate agencies, is that right?
Yes.
During the course of that interview, those officers informed you.
All right. All right, cool. I'm going to read some I'm like tired. I've been yawning and shit. I don't know why I'm tired. I've had a long day. Soccer tryouts went well today. My son did great. I know you guys were wondering about that. He did awesome. Club soccer is like intense. The kids are so much like serious about it. It's like good. I'm like excited to be part of this. It's fun. I want to be a soccer dad. All right. Let me read some turtle chats here. All right. Turtle Boy was right. Sends $5. Goes, Jimmy has a student who works for the CDC. Maybe she should write up a protocol for Turtle Boy derangement syndrome. No, seriously. Miss Take Ellis sends $20 and goes, Nerdy Addict on Twitter posted this. A lot of you spell, I got caught being a shitty human while hiding behind a fake name and account I thought would shield my behavior as doxing. So true. They are not the same. I found that to be a great PSA for the trolls watching the show tonight. Hashtag free Turtle Boy. Exactly. Beth sends $10. Goes, I bet a lot of us who were initially driven by a picture of an arm that was clearly attacked by an animal, and then our DA's office tells us it was hit by a Lexus. So many witnesses you could intimidate into testifying for you. What? If you want to be a dinosaur in my ring, I will be brave. Love you, Turtle. Okay. Thank you. I don't know what you're saying there, but thank you. At Ford Dread sends $10. Goes, no blood or John O'Keefe DNA on the broken piece of taillight they planted is what did it for me. That's right. Yeah, there was no DNA on any of the taillight or blood. There should have been, because it cut up his arm, right? There should absolutely be DNA there. Turtle Boy was right. Thank you, at Fort Dread. Lou Squirrel LaRue sends $100. Woo! And says a Glarer fan crew. Okay. I don't know what that means. I know the glare means. I know what that is. I know what a Glarer fan is. And there's that. Jolie sends $10 and says, did you watch Melanie Little's rant last night? It was awesome about BLT. Yes. Maybe I'll play that during the bus stop live tomorrow. I'm a little tired. I'm so happy. Her support for you has never wavered. You've continued to fight for injustice, even when your own freedom was a risk. That makes you here. You know why her support has never wavered? Because she's smart. Smart people are on my side. BLT, the more I look at his commentary, he's like really dumb. He's just like a really dumb, unintelligent person who just, happened. I mean, anybody can see Karen Reed's innocent. That you don't have to be a smart person to realize that. But he has no understanding of like the Constitution. He can barely read. And he's out here cosplaying like he's like a real journalist or something like that. Like he's just really dumb. He's a dumb person. And so, there's that. All right, next. But yes, tomorrow I'll play that during the bus stop live. Next witness says, can you make an emoji that says Turtle Boy was right? Maybe. Kelly sends $25, goes, Turtle Boy, I've tried sending you multiple Cash Apps. Well, I haven't checked my Cash Apps with a comment, and you don't seem to be getting them. Hopefully you'll get this one. My comment was, my son is in the Air Force and would be completely embarrassed to have Colin Albert in the armed forces. Plus, I'm sure that Pete Hegseth is jumping for joy knowing that he's got one more asshole under his purview. Oh, yeah. Well, he's also scared. Like, how are you going to defend our country from terrorists if you're scared of window intimidation? T-Rex arms keep you up at night. Bethany sends $10, goes, dude, I swear to God, if you don't order a mic stand, add it to the Amazon list. You've come too far not to have that. I kind of like doing this. It's like, I'm like it's, I feel like I'm like in a panel holding a mic. I kind of like doing it this way. It's original. Hey, what's up? I feel like a stand-up comedian at it. Hey, doing my thing. All right. Let me see if we have any. Let me check my Cash Apps. I have a bunch. So Emily C just sent me the Marie Russell sidebar thing. I'm going to play that. I'm just too tired, to be honest with you. I'm tired. There's so much shit I want to show you guys. I'm just fucking tired. And I wanted to go over Emily's interview with Adam 𝗫𝗃. Quick little Reader's Digest analysis. She was great. Disappointed with the things Adam 𝗫𝗃 said. Was not thrilled with the things he said. And we could talk more about that tomorrow. But for him to say that my speech, and let's be honest, she asked him about the rubber duckies and Rich Schiffer, and he answered for me without saying my name. And he said it's pushing boundaries. I don't like that. I don't like the word pushing boundaries. It's not, there was nothing pushing boundaries about that. Pushing boundaries means you're like you're crossing the line. Nope. Everything was legal. There were no boundaries pushed. No boundaries pushed. It was all perfectly legal. And that's it. So she did great. But I would say that next time he's interviewed, I hope someone specifically asks him, will you use your discretion to continue to prosecute the witness intimidation statute in the same way that the current administration is, specifically in regards to the emotional injury provision of the statute? That's what I would ask him, because that's the problem right now, is it is being used with the emotional injury part and not the physical injury part, which we all agree with. Like, you should not threaten to physically hurt somebody if you're a witness, right? But emotional injury, what's that? That's the problem, is it's being used. All of the witnesses I'm being charged with intimidating are because of that. The rubber duckies were because of that, right? And I would say that Rachel Rollins, when she ran for district attorney, specifically said that there are 15 things that she is not going to prosecute. 15 misdemeanors, shoplifting, and all conservatives like myself got all our panties in a bunch, and we're like, Jesus, this communist, she's not going to do anything. But she stood by it. Rachel Rollins is a crazy communist, corrupt district attorney. But she wears who she is on her sleeve. She really does. She does not care. I kind of like her. I hate her politics, but I kind of like her as a person. I'm not going to lie. She also gave me credit and props when Karen Reed was acquitted. And even though I hate what she did to Katie, my friend Katie, with the road rage incident, that was really shitty what she did there. But it was just like, she announced, and I bring that up because she announced that I'm not going to prosecute any of these crimes. But yet they're still crimes. They're still on the books as crimes. But she's using her discretion to say, I'm not going to do this. So my question for Adam 𝗫𝗃 would be, and I would mention that. I would mention the Rachel Rollins thing. And I would say, would you use your discretion not to prosecute people who technically may, if you've actually caused emotional harm, which I don't believe I have, people who may have done this, right, caused emotional harm, which is technically illegal, will you continue to prosecute them for that? Or will you use your discretion like she did not to prosecute that? That's the question. Like, let's get real specific about that, you know? And so, because he kind of gave a politician answer and I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I liked a lot about him. I didn't like that. And I think that people like bold, right? People like leaders who will, like, that's why Donald Trump was elected. Because Donald Trump said some crazy shit that no one else would say, right? He was not supposed to win. Jeb Bush was supposed to win. But Donald Trump got up there and started saying crazy shit about building walls and deporting illegal immigrants and Rosie O'Donnell's a pig and all this shit, right, that you're not supposed to say. And people were like, I like this. This is bold. And same with the left. A lot of bold people from the left started getting elected. AOC is bold. She's a communist, but she's bold. Ilhan Omar is bold. Everyone in the squad is bold. Okay. They have like crazy, from my stance, crazy political opinions, right? But they're like, yeah, they just fucking own it. They own that shit. They're like, yeah, we're fucking nuts. We are radical fucking communists and we don't give a fuck, because that's what we are. And we are here to overthrow and disrupt this system like you've never seen before, motherfucker. So buckle up. And they just own it. And guess what? They all won. And they keep getting reelected. It works. Being bold works. And like Rachel Rollins got elected. Donald Trump got elected. Okay. And I see people in the comments and they're like saying like, oh, Trump sucks. You're missing the fucking point. Take off your political lenses for 2 seconds. Okay. And I see other people saying Trump's awesome. Take them off. Take off the political lenses. Okay. Trump good, Trump bad, doesn't matter. Trump is a con man, doesn't matter. You guys are this is what's wrong with politics, is I can't even make a point without being people like, oh, Trump's great or Trump's bad. No, let's talk about why he won. Because he said shit no one else said. And so did AOC. And so did Ilhan Omar. And so did fucking Rachel Rollins. They all said shit that no one else said. And that's what Adam 𝗍𝗫che needs to do. Adam 𝗍𝗫che needs to be bold. I did not see a bold person today on 𝗲𝗄𝐶's interview. And that was disappointing. I'm going to be like, that was a disappointing thing, right? He's in a field of 7 and he needs to differentiate himself from the other 6, right? So there is no better time to be bold than right now. People are sick of this administration. This is a corrupt administration that did fucked up shit and looked the other way. And Greg Conner is a continuation of that. And Adam 𝗍𝗫che needs to make it clear, when I get in there, everything's changing. And the thing that everyone's talking about is Sandra Birchmore and Karen Reed and Turtle Boy. Okay? And you got to be bold with that stuff. That's just my opinion. So to me, I didn't think it was good. I thought she was great. I thought he could have been better. And I think that he really needs to be pressed about this witness intimidation statute. Not just me, but about the statute itself, right? Do you agree with continuing to prosecute it in the same way that it is now? I did not see that in the interview today. I'm going to be honest, but that's just me. That's just me. And quite frankly, if I get up here and I lick Adam 𝗍𝗫che's balls, and I'm like, he's awesome, you know, and I will never give money to him or any politician, because then they can be accused of, you know, being tied to me, and it's a conflict. You know what I mean? Anyway, and let's see. So stupid April says, I see your point and I respect it. Well, thank you. But in comparison to his opponents, I think he's being more direct and bold than them. That's true. but obviously not if compared to Trump or any of the other liberals who I just mentioned. Right. So I get that he is, but he could really separate himself, I think, by saying that. Look at Spencer Pratt. Exactly. Spencer Pratt is bold. Will Spencer Pratt win? I don't know how LA politics works. I'm assuming no. I'm assuming Karen Bass will win because that's just how shit works. But the mere fact that I even know who Spencer Pratt is, the fact that he's making such a name for himself right now, the fact that this is even a contest, shows you that people like bold because of Spencer Pratt, you know? So there's that. Okay. Let me see here. All right. Ashley Floyd, my sugar mama, sends $150. Thank you, dear. Always. And says, great episode. Thank you. Awesome. You're very welcome. Cal sends $20 and goes, great show, Unc. So glad we got to watch this as a group. Me too. Me too. And nobody else has shown it. How come BLT's not showing it? Frank sends $5 and goes, got to make sure the juror stays safe. Yes. Frank sends another 5 and goes, Turtle Boy was right. Amen, brother. We all know what that means, don't we? And yes, Kelly Spencer, your Cash Apps went through, in which you said the same thing as the Turtle Chat, so thank you. Deborah sends $10, goes, I would totally show up to court in a T-Rex costume. Let's keep the decorum appropriate, shall we? Let's do that. All right. Let me see if we have any more Turtle Chats before I read the membership stuff. We got Growth Redacted, sends $10, goes, free Turtle Boy. Turtle Boy was right. We got your back. Leave and love. Well, thank you so much, Growth Redacted. We got J.E. Walsh tossing memberships around. Awesome. Congratulations to the winners. Don't forget to re-up at the end of the month. Thank you. Lawyer You Blow is a new member. Welcome. Awesome. We are all mad here too. Gave it out 1 membership. They were in a given mood today. Thank you. Lisa purchased a new membership. Welcome aboard, Lisa Reed with 2 E's. The Peaches giving away a membership. Congratulations to the winner. All About Winter White Snow, member for 4 months. Just wanted to let us know that. Thank you. Turtle Boy was right. We know what that means. We know what that means. Aqua, thank you. Stand with Mel is a new member. You're going to love it here, especially on Fridays. Jersey Queen says Chippy can get a no prosecution deal and sing like a canary. Send them all to jail and retire somewhere far away. Yeah. Yeah. And Mary is a new YouTube member. Welcome, Mary Quake Contrary. How does your garden grow? All right. Anyway, one more. Strange Credulity. Giving out 1 for the road. Welcome to the winner. You got 1 at the end. Thank you. I think it was Strange Credulity. Congratulations with your new membership. Don't forget to renew every month, Maria, if you like it. So, all right, guys, I am going to head to bed. I'm exhausted, but we'll see you guys tomorrow morning for the Bus Stop Live. Thursday morning, Bus Stop Live. We're going to have Jimmy here. We are going to psychoanalyze Jim Altman, and she is officially invited on the YouTube presentation to talk about it. But it's going to aggravate my tennis elbow. I'm going to use my left, though. Good night. So anyway, guys, I'm headed to bed. We'll see you guys in the morning. And don't forget to brush your teeth. PC Bum Grease. Outie.
Top down, riding down Main. It's a clear night. Screens glowing blue. Got the facts in my headlights. Commonwealth tripping, but the truth stay calm. Morrissey and Lally, I'ma read them like Psalms. KP throwing shade from a broke down porch, but the files in my lap like a flame to a torch. I don't raise my voice, I just let the game speak. Steady with the grind while the crooked run weak. We just riding slow, gliding, paper stacking in the breeze. Turn the system up, let the whole town see. No mask on my face, no fear in my lane. I'ma shine that light on the ones bringing shame. From the courtrooms down to the city blocks. They can't hide from the truth, cause the truth don't stop. We just ride a slow grind. Midnight oil burning, pen hit the pad slow. Every word cut clean like the rims on the 6-4. From Boston to Brockton, the whispers all hum. Turtle boys riding in the reckoning gon' come. Lally in the back room, more 𝗺𝟑 on the phone, trying to twist the narrative, but they can't postpone. I'm just sipping on the facts while the city play pretend true. Got no curfew, I'ma run it to the end. See, this ain't about fame, this about that long game. You can duck, you can weave, but the truth still call your name. Just riding slow, gliding paper, stacking in the breeze. Turn the system up, let the whole town see. No mask on my face, no